Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 2 of the Championship of Season 3 as we take in, of course, the British Grand Prix from the Silverstone International Circuit. As you can tell on my lonesome, I am James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream for the first half, at least for the first part of qualifying. Jota will be joining me in the meantime as soon as he gets back from work. We will have the double screens up and we will have everything back to normal. But you're stuck with me for the next 20, 30 minutes or so, which hopefully isn't going to be too bad for you guys at home, and hopefully not going to be too bad for me either, because I've got to put up with you for the next 20 minutes as well, and of course for the rest of this evening. But hopefully you are all doing well. Let's have a reminder then of what happened last week in Monaco. Of course, OP Louis Valentin taking the win in an absolute domination victory, I've got to say, from the Frenchman. Out on top, 30-second victory over Flopman there in second, who really overperformed, I've got to say, for G League. Furious there in third, 42.8 seconds behind. And look at that, 5th all the way down to 15th, 1 lap or above behind Louis Valentin, which just really cemented his legacy and cemented him, of course, and OP at the top end of the standings. And we'll have a look then at the team standings coming into tonight after round number 1. And it's Outplayed Racing who leads the way on 45 points from Nexus Racing in second on 35. However, they're not going to be second for much longer, and I will tell you why in just a second. G League there in third on 32, with Future Racing Team FRT in 4th on 24. Parnell Racing there in 5th on 19, and then we've got a tie for 6th between 3 teams actually. Team Shazoo, Bunga Racing Team and Novus Racing are all separated on the same amount of points, on 15 points respectively. Paradox Sim Racing got more points than what they did last season in Monaco. They picked up 6 more than what they got last season and are currently in 9th position with a very strong lineup tonight as well. And NLR Esports there in 10th on the nil point, but hopefully the nil point will not exist beyond tonight as well, because they are very consistent around this track as well. And a reminder as well, if you haven't seen it within the WOR League Discord, the Legacy Division Discord, you might have missed an announcement on social media as well, and that is Zandvoort getting replaced for round number 3, and that is because of a brand new layout that we have got currently in the game. The current patch update brought us Singapore, the new track layout. I've driven it, and I've got to be honest, I'm very, very much in love with how Singapore is on this game. I think it's a lot better. It does take away that technicality through the third sector, but it does promote a lot more overtaking, and hopefully as us guys as commentators and you guys as the viewers will want to see more of that overtaking, of course, as we go forward in Legacy Division. The rest of the calendar, however, remains unchanged. Just Singapore coming in as per that. And I mentioned there as well about NLX, and NLX did fold in the midweek. In fact, they folded, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So Nexus Racing no longer going to be taking part in WOR Legacy Division. Team Shazoo, of course, originally qualified as first reserve. However, they got promoted with that merge with PSO and Talent Factory. ET8 Esports are now the second team that come in. So there is their lineup. We've got Sergio, Agonize, Gustavo, Tajin, on Mateo and Max Power. It is Sergio and Mateo that is going to be taking part in tonight's session. The grid is currently being formed out on track. Everyone is currently out there for Q1 at this stage. And let's have a look then at who you've got to expect coming into tonight in terms of the racing. Of course, in the Red Bull, we've got Sam and Tallers for Parnell Racing. Marcadors and Nando in for OP. They're on that set of soft compounder tyres as well, out there on track at the minute. Sergio and Mateo in for ET8, and then Ghost King and Maxro in for G League. Bradders and Kian in for PSR, with Kazizel and Volokongan in for Team Shazoo. Magician and Passy in for BRT for the Bunga Racing Team. Chelsea and Rain, same lineup as last week for FRT. They're in once again, hopefully to try and provide a very consistent result and a good podium as well from last week as well. Urpek and Ruti, 2 guys very much at the top of their game at the minute for NLR. They're in for the NLR team, and Bowman and Stonks in for NVR, which is going to be very interesting indeed in terms of seeing how they get on on track. The final thing to run through though, however, before we get to the on-track action, is, of course, the track map, and we're bringing that back in full glorified fashion. 5.8 kilometres then 3.6 mile, 18 turns awaiting our drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, 1 down the Wellington straight in towards turn 6 at Brooklands, and then 1 down in towards turn 15 at Stowe as well. Pretty much a who's who in terms of overtaking. Some DRS zones as well, going to promote a lot of overtaking, even maybe a lot of overtaking outside of the track as well, but we look forward to seeing how the drivers get on out on track. And speaking of being out on track. Let's have a look then at the BR team out of Magician. Stonks there retiring from the session. He's got a qualifying ban after, I believe, blocking in qualifying last week. So the NVR man already out of the session. But we'll run on board with Magician, who is on a lap, and we'll get everything up in terms of the timing tower and everything. But he is on that set of intermediate compound tires, and as you can tell, you can definitely tell he's on that set of inters. He's at a 1:30.3 to go quicker so far out of tonight's session. However, though, they're on that set of intermediates. They are going to be on that set of intermediates for the first half of qualifying one. Sam Gamer now going quickest. Of course, one around here in PSGL this season in PSF1, so he now goes quickest. There's Liam Bowman in the pit lane there as well. Ghost King just starting up on his lap as well. So we'll see how the drivers, of course, get on. But at the early stages of qualifying, nothing really to talk about, I've got to be honest, in this. But Marco's now going quickest from Sam Gamer. Maxwell there in third. And, of course, G-League, in terms of their performance last season, doing a last week, of course, doing a fantastic job. I've got to say, I put them, I think, 9th position in the end in terms of my predictions. And I really shouldn't have, because they produced fantastic racing with Flopman, of course, as part of their team. It's Maxwell and Ghost King, who is, we're on board with right now, part of their team coming into tonight, and the French outfit looking to try and really put a stranglehold maybe on the championship as well. We're on board with Ghost King, formerly actually of F1 Esports, now joining, of course, G-League. I believe they merged, if I'm not mistaken, in the off-season before Legacy Division started. So, we'll see what Ghost King can do. He's on that set of intermediate compound tyres. Of course, we should be seeing 25s, 26s, I think, in terms of the overall bog standard lap time. Maybe even quicker there than that. But hopefully we get to see some really good racing out on track as well. Alex the G there in the chat saying, just put some fun facts like the calamity of 2013 with punctures. Yeah, I think there was 4 punctures in 2013. John O'Vone was one. Lewis Hamilton was the other. There were 2 more. I can't think of them. Maybe Sebastian Vettel and Roman Grosjean, I'm thinking, were the other 2. However, drivers now filtering back in the pit lane. Ghost King obviously came off his lap, so he's not going to go in terms of an improvement. So it's Marco's out on top, Ruti there in second, Passy there currently in third. It was Massa and Perez, I'm led to believe, there from Mr. Alex the G there in the chat. And hopefully you guys will egg me along in terms of Q1 and in terms of what we're going to be seeing. Papine there saying, hi James, good evening to you. Papine, hope you're doing very well indeed. Evil One saying, NLR need to pick up a win. Folded like my clothes, says Evil One. That's not nice. That is not nice whatsoever. Hopefully they don't fold like your clothes. And hopefully we do not see other teams folding, I think, as well. Because obviously that PSR Talent Factory merge really put a stranglehold, I think, on what we've seen in terms of the new world order, I think, in terms of teams. Certainly on PlayStation, certainly on console, and hopefully we do get to see more teams really thriving. The smaller teams, like your NLRs, like your Team Shazoos, like your G-Leagues, for example, really get to excel on a platform like this. I think it is absolutely perfect, and hopefully everyone will be able to see. Mahalis there saying in the chat at 129, they are on a set of intermediate compound tyres. He says his granddad is faster. I'd love to see that, to be honest, if his granddad is faster than that 129.6 that Markedos has set currently. So we'll see what the drivers are going to be doing in terms of their soft runs. But of course, the soft runs are going to happen very soon indeed. There is the tyre that everyone is on currently. Everyone now in the pit lane, so you will be able to see in terms of what tyre everyone is on. We've got Ruti, Passy and Nando, as well as Chelsea and Opec there currently on a set of inters. They're now switching, of course, to the softs, so we are going to get the first runs out on track very soon indeed in terms of the overall race. And, of course, it is a track as well that promotes a lot of overtaking. First race, of course, are held around here at Silverstone in 1950, the first ever inaugural Formula 1 Grand Prix held here in 1950, given the home of British motorsport by our British fans, and, of course, has really cemented its legacy as part of a regular feature here in Legacy Division and also a regular feature on the F1 calendar as well, which I think is really good. Silverstone, of course, believe signing a €15 agreement with Bernie Eccleston in 2009. That is due to run out next year in 2024, and I'm led to believe they're going to sign an additional 5-year. I've heard that from my sources, certainly. They might sign another 5 years for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Otherwise, there's no other track that can really take the British Grand Prix, and we might have to see alternatives like Brands Hatch, like Donington, for example, maybe even taking over. I know that won't happen, though, because the tracks, of course, need resurfacing. And, of course, coming into tonight as well, the drivers are on the compound tyre. There are 3 compound tyres available, unless, of course, it is wet. Intermediates and wets being the full wet compound tyres that we do have. C3, C2 and C1 compound tyres. Everyone on the C3 compound tyre right now on board with BRT Magician, who's the first man out on track there in the Aston Martin. And the softs normally last an optimal around about 8 or 9 laps around here. They do go off very quick beyond the lap 4, lap 5 on their stint. They really start to go off, I think, as they go through. Medium compounded tyres, C2 as well. 16 laps they can last in terms of their lifespan. Optimal times, however, are pretty much the same as the softs lifespan. That is 12 laps for the softs, 11 or 12 optimal, of course, for the mediums, 16 laps for their full lifespan. And the set of hards, don't think we'll be seeing the set of hards, because you remember back in the day, I know you guys remember, the blue wall compounded tyre on F1 2015 that we used to have. They were absolutely god-awful, and hopefully we do not see anybody on a set of hard compounded tyres, unless, of course, it is within the race. But we are going to see how Magician is going to get on out on track and see if he can produce some magic as well, coming to the left-hander of Farm at turn number 2, and then into the right-hander of Village at turn number 3. Gets caught on the outside curve there slightly, just sends the car over-rotated in, and you can see he's already snapping in terms of the oversteer, coming through the left-hander now at turn number 4, now coming through turn 5 at Aintree, now down the Wellington Straight, named, of course, after the Wellington Bombers, which famously, of course, this was an airfield circuit, famously formed in World War II, 1946, I believe. The Wellington Bombers then landed, and that is given, of course, the straight name for that, as Magician now comes through the right hand of the old final corner at Woodcut, in towards the old turn 1 at Cops as well. Very much flat out around here, 180 mile an hour can be carried coming through Cops these days. Used to be a chicane in the middle of that, did you know? But I certainly didn't, because I wasn't born there. Sam Gamer gets a 5-second grid penalty for illegal blocking. That means we are going to get a restart potentially in terms of qualifying at the end. Sam Gamer picking up another 5-second penalty for illegal blocking. He is not a man of mischief, put it that way. It's Magician purple in that middle sector. Very, very good, I've got to say, in terms of their lap time so far. Magician looking absolutely hooked up. There's a lot of traffic, though, coming through this final sector, and he's into the back of an Alpine. He's into the back of one of the G League drivers. I'm not sure who that might have been on their outlap. I think it was Maxrow, if I'm not mistaken. And that is just common sense. I think Magician goes quickest in the end at 27.8, but there is no need to be parked on the racing line like that. That is such a shame for Magician. Passing now going quicker by 2 seconds, and that is because of that lap time. But Magician into the back of the Alpine. No 5-second penalty actually picked up, so I'm very, very shocked at that. No 5-second penalty picked up, but Magician pretty much kind of his lucky start that he didn't lose his front wing there, and certainly didn't lose any time, but that is going to be given to the stewards, and I have a feeling there's going to be a slap wrist or two potentially in terms of that. Tails out on top, Passy there in second, Magician there in third. We'll see who else is on a lap time at this moment. Sergio there through the first second. Round above the ET8 driver, I should say, of Matteo. Matteo very good around this track at EML back in the day. Opec going now quickest, 25.2. Now bettered by Kian with a 25.1. So the PSL man doing a fantastic job out on track as Matteo now comes through the right-hander of Stowe at turn number 15. Currently sitting in 18th position, doesn't deserve to belong there, to be honest. He is a very quick driver. The Sam Gamer now goes 2 tenths quicker than everyone else out in field as Matteo now comes through the final corner. Might put himself up there with Kian, actually. Goes 4th in the end, behind Liam Bowman. Very good lap time in from Matteo, and ETA going to be buoyed by the early confidence there that Matteo was showing, and Sergio was certainly showing the same. Exactly the same middle sector, 102.1 combined through the first and middle, so we'll see what Sergio can do out on track with the ET8 team, of course, now in the Mercedes, replacing Nexus Racing, who folded, and they, of course, replaced there in the car in the Mercedes. Now come through the final corner, does Sergio, on the run toward the line, and he goes 12th position. That it didn't look, to be honest, to me, anyways, that was going to be 12th position. It looked to be a little bit quicker than that. So Sergio there down in 12th. Maybe under pressure, potentially from the likes of Dowd, potentially from the likes of Passy as well. It was due to be Chelsea and rain, by the way, for FRT. And I've just noticed this coming through on commentary. Dowd is now in for FRT. Their reserve driver coming in for rain. So Dowd there replacing the FRT man there for that. Of course, they're in the half respectively. Goals King as well on a lap time at this stage. It is Sam Gamer out on top, though. Keenan second, Marcador's there in third. 157 of you, by the way, tuning in, which is not giving me at all a lot more nerves here in the commentary box, sitting here by myself, waiting for Jota to come along and possibly save the day. But Sam Gamer out on top, it's Keenan second, it's Marcador's there in third, and this is Legacy Division Season 3, and it's Round 2 here in Britain. In Q1, of course, if you're not familiar with the Legacy Division, you're tuning in for the first time, it is Q1, Q2, and Q3. So the full 18 minutes worth of qualifying here, then 15 minutes, and then 12 minutes as Ghost King decides to go coming into the pit lane, and the Alpine, he's there down in 20th position and needs to get a lap in ASAP. Yeah, Sam Gamer out on top, Kian in second, Marcadors there in third. Looking at the strategies as well coming into tonight, I've got in my notes certainly, and this was from PSGL and indeed PCF1 that ran around here recently. Hards and mediums probably going to be the quickest strategy out of the two and the most popular for the drivers. They last a normal and optimal of 14 laps, meaning the drivers will be quicker on the mediums come the end of the race. So if we see anybody on a set of hards, do not be surprised at the start of the race. And the medium tyre weight around here is around about 5% a lap. So if you do a little bit of maths that I'm going to teach you how to do right now, 5% basically over the course of 8 laps is 40%. So you think of that, and that is how the tyre wear really goes around this track. It's pretty high compared to previous game cycles on this game, certainly. But they're also more durable as well, as what I found out. And depending on the driver's driving style, if you're more aggressive, you are probably going to be wearing out those tyres a hell of a lot quicker than what you're going to be doing if you are a driver that really conserves their ERS and really conserves their tyres as well. Dirk there saying in the chat, softs to mediums and medium to soft is also good. Yeah. Chosen by F1 Esports drivers in PSGL PCF1. Softs likely to have that lifespan of about 12 laps before drivers decide to pit in, as Kian feels like he's done enough. He there retires there in the pit lane. But it's Sam Gamer, Kian, and Marcadors there in the top 3. Looking at further down the field, however, Ruti, Maxwell, Doward are in a little bit of spot of bother. Same with Sergio, same with Kazizel, same with Tales potentially as well. So if I was those guys, I'd probably get out here ASAP and try and set a lap time. We've only got 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, so it is going to be very interesting in terms of this. The likes of Kian, Marcos, Liam Bowman, pretty much done out the session. They are probably safe. But final runs normally in qualifying tends to be the case where we see a lot of invalidations. And that invalidation will put a lot of pressure underneath the drivers out on track, as Doward nearly spins coming through the love field, and I hope the FRT team are actually watching that, because I caught that on stream. Darren nearly going for half spin coming through the love field, doing a little bit of mowing of the grass there. Not that it needs mowing any shorter anyway. He's got the Haasman there down in 15th position. Just trying to see actually who's out on track first. I think it is one of the BRT drivers. I might be Magician again. We'll run aboard with Magician coming through. Again, no bias shown towards BRT, however. It's just the first person that's out on track going for another lap. So Magician now coming to the right-hander of Abbey, to the left-hander of Farm, the newly added section, of course, here in 2010. And again, really snapping that Overseer. Didn't get caught on the outside curb that time, but unsettles the rear. Just sends him wide. A little bit quicker, though, coming through there this time around. So that looks a lot neater compared to his first lap. And we'll see what Magician is going to be setting in terms of his lap time. His first sector split is a 27.2, so you can tell he's already 2.5 tenths up. And that was, say, catching on the outside curb on his first lap. Really, really now buoying about big improvement potentially for the Bunga Racing team. He's now come to the right-hander in towards the in towards Vulca, and then in towards the right-hander of Cops. Ball there saying in the chat, BRT bias. Nope, not at all. Just the first person out on track. Passy was the second man out on track as well. So if that's BRT bias, then I will come and hunt you down as Magician comes through the right-hander of the of Maggots and Beckett's, then through Chapel, and then through the middle sector split. A 102.116, a 2.5 tenths up through the middle sector, and Purple showing in the middle sector as well on his personal best. And that comes through. He's currently in 18th position, looking to try and improve. The timing tower suggests a 27.8 is going to be a big improvement on this. Magician now coming through the final couple of corners. Can now he magically appear into the top 10 perhaps? Magician coming through the line on the run, and he goes 12, but he's still in trouble. 25.376 is best. Passy there coming through the final corner on the run to the line. He goes 6. He looks safe for now. However, it's going to be so tight out on track in terms of the drivers. Brad is there improving by a tenth of a second early on. Volakongan also improving. Nando also improving. But it's the likes of Ruti Hullett that need to improve. We'll run aboard with the NLR man out and coming now through Maggots and Beckett. And Ruti there in 15th position. Not looking too bad whatsoever. It's Sam Gamer, it's Keaton and Marcos the top 3. Ruti in the middle sector. 102.157. And he's down, crucially, in that middle sector. So if Maxwell, if Doward, or if Chelsea improve, Ruti is in trouble. Chelsea does improve. Luckily, doesn't go ahead of him, though. Goes 16th position. Maxwell's coming through the middle sector, at the end of the middle sector. Now, however, puts him up with Dowd now in 13th. So Ruti now coming to the final corner on the run toward the line, and he goes 14th and 4,000 clear. A Magician there in 15. Brad is now going quickest though than everyone, 24.946. Maxwell is 3.5 tenths up, looking very good, I've got to say, is Maxwell. Coming toward the line here is the G League man, and he goes 13th. Ruti's in trouble. Sergio also in through him, but he bails into the pit lane, and that is it for the ET8 man. So we've got one of each team pretty much out. BRT have got one out in Magician, Sergio out for ETA, Chelsea out for FRT, Stonks out for NVR with that qualifying ban, and Ghost King just purely could not set a lap time in. They're down in 20th position, and the Alpine already out of qualifying. Big shock, Ruti gets through 4,000th of a second, and Alex the G probably sweating buckets along with the rest of the NLR team with that. But it's Brothers out on top, and in the end, only by, 5,000ths of a second, that is, from Sam Gamer in second, Kazizzle there in third. But, that is Luke, I believe, in the chat saying G League and FRT are one-track wonders. It seems likely, potentially, that it is. But Dowd, however, got through, by the skin of his teeth, by only 1,500ths of a second. So, if they're a one-track wonder, come at me after Q2, I think. But a very good qualifying session from the FRT man. Dowd, he goes there into Q2, as does the rest, and it's Brothers out on top. Sam Gamer's penalty, of course, will get removed. He does get through into Q2, however, so just ignore that penalty. It might not count. Kazizzle there in third with Urpek there in fourth. Kian there in fifth with Volokongan in sixth. Markadors in seventh. Liam Bowman in eighth. Mateo there in ninth. Very close qualifying, actually, between them three. Passy there in 10th. Then it's Nando in 11th. Tales there in 12th with Maxwell 13th. Dowd in 14th. Ruti there rounding off in 15th, and then 4,000ths of a second the split between being out of Q1 and getting into Q2. Ruti there 15th, Magician 16th, 4,000ths of a second separating. Then Sergio 17th, Chelsea there in 18th, Stonks in 19th, and Ghost King there in 20th. Both drivers not 10 lap time on the board. And Alex G pointing out there in the chat as well, even with a 10th place grid drop, Sam would be in Q2. He would be indeed. He is definitely in Q2. And I believe he would have been 12th position. So, yeah, very, very much so in Q2. But we, however, get going, of course, into Q2 right now. And hopefully you don't mind if I take a little drink of my water, because I'm absolutely gone with my Q1 voice already. Jota needs to come ASAP because my voice is suffering already. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it, and you guys now can get to experience Q2 in terms of 15 minutes worth of qualifying. But yeah, Markadors there currently out on top. We'll wait for the drivers to go. Again, it is beautiful blue skies and sunshine here in Silverstone. And hopefully we get to see some very good action out on track as well in terms of this. Let me know, though, in the comment section on YouTube who you think are going to be the 5 that get knocked out here in Q2. Honestly, on the face value of that in Q1, very, very close, I think, in terms of the racing. Very, very close, I think, in terms of who's going to be potentially going out and going in. I'm honestly looking at the likes of potentially Ruti growing into the session. I think he might be a one for Q3, potentially. NLR will be absolutely jumping at me in the comment section with that one. However, I honestly think one of the Shazoo guys could go out. I think it could be Volokongan, potentially, that could go out. I know he is a very consistent driver in terms of other leagues, but his pace around here, one-lap pace around here, not as strong as what one might think. So the Shazoo man there in 9th, not to absolutely do him in whatsoever, but I think Volokongan could be the big shock here in Q2. And if I'm right with that, then A, I've got a prediction right for the first time this season, and B, you all have to bow down to me, I think, there in the chat. Alex the G, though, saying in the chat, Dowd, Passy, Ruti, Maxwell, and Bowman being the 5 that get knocked out. He did pick 5 names out of a hat, apparently. I don't believe that for 1 second. But what I do believe, though, is the cloud cover is beginning to build over the circuit, which may just threaten either A, a change-up in conditions, or B, you could have a little bit of rain here for Q2 as well, maybe toward the latter part of Q2 there as well. And James in the chat, not my namesake certainly, but James saying in the chat, Bowman. Yeah, with a bit of a wondering thinking face there in the chat. Yeah, I totally agree. I think Bowman, very strong driver on Xbox, very strong driver, I think, for Novus Racing. Getting him into Q2, I think, is going to do them the world of good. Of course, one of their drivers knocked out. However, Bowman very quick as we ride on board then with Volokongan, the man that I've just done for maybe to put him into his own grave in Q2. Let's ride on board with him. Coming now through until the right-hander of Abbey and then to the left-hander of Farm. And then in towards Village there at turn number 3. And this is pretty much the very difficult part of the track where you've got to get the traction down. Volokongan doing nicely there. Coming to the left-hander of turn number 4 at the loop. And then through turn number 5 at Aintree. Aintree Corner, of course, given the name for the Aintree Grand Prix that used to be held around here, even in the British Grand Prix days. So there we are. Volokongan's first sector. Didn't see what his first sector was because I didn't have the timing screens up, but looking very quick as he comes now through the right-hander of Luffield. We had Jess Ball on this national straight pit in for Formula Student when she did commentary around here in real life. Volokongan now coming in towards Cops Corner at turn number 9. And now halfway through the lap then with the Norwegian, of course, looking to try and really bound into the qualifying session. Team Chazoo really need a good qualifying session here, given their result from Monaco. We'll see what Volokongan can do in the middle sector. 1 or 2.1 suggests to me he's either on a used set of tyres or he's just simply not going quick enough on this fresh set. So maybe saving something back for later on in the session. Marketer's low tyres and Kean coming in the top 3. And Volokongan decides, you know what, I'll just juke James into the pit lane and decide to come in. So that is a shame because this is they're invalidating there as well. Just seeing if there's anybody else on that. Doward is on that. The FRT man 102.243 in the middle sector. And the Hassman doing a good job as it stands. Marketer's low goes quickest for OP. Of course, championship leaders coming into tonight are Outplayed Racing. Nando there in second, currently filling out an OP 1-2. However, beaten now by Matteo by nearly a tenth and a quarter there from Marketer's. There's now on board with Doward. The pole coming towards the line. Not going to be as quick as the OP guys, but puts himself in fourth, puts himself ahead of Ruti, which I think is going to be a real good fight potentially towards the end there of Q2. Tales now, the Brazilian, coming to the final corner on the run toward the line, and he goes fourth ahead of Doward by a good tenth of a second there. So good lap time there. Filled in by the Red Bull. Passy on a lap as well, as we see an improvement up the field, which I've just missed. I believe there might have been somebody coming in the pit lane, rather. But Matteo there out on top, Marcos in second, Nando there in third. The lap counter going down, says Alex G. This was like this last week, even before the patch. I spotted this last week in terms of the running clock at the top end of your screen, where the yellow flag is currently overhanging at the minute. That is where we will see the lap times really tick down and the timer really tick down as well. Yeah, they really do need to fix the Q1, Q2 and Q3 bug that we do have in terms of visual effects, not in terms of any glitches. As now Urpec on the run toward the line. Currently PSGL F2 Championship leader and goes 4th position, so not about that player at all from Urpec. And actually saves pretty much a symmetrical lap time to Nando. Nando there with a 1:25.423. Urpec swapping the digits around for the last two numbers, and Urpec setting the 1:25.432. So very nice lap there at all from him, and he looks to try and build on that, of course, as the session progresses. Sam Gamer, specialist, of course, around here in Britain, took the win in PSGL PSF1. And if you didn't see that race, there was an absolute humdinger. There was quite a few incidents, actually, in that race. So hopefully we will not see the same here in Legacy Division tonight. But Sam Gamer now coming through the left-hander of turn number 4 at the loop. And then through turn number 5 at Aintree Corner. It's Matteo, Marcos and Nando currently your top 3 with 9 minutes to go in qualifying. And Sam Gamer's first sector is a 27.1, which suggests to me he's on a fresh set of soft compound of tyre. So Matteo there leading the way, Marcos in second, Nando there in third. Pascal saying no 2001 and 2009 as well, Alex the G mentioning. Cloud cover still beginning to build though over the circuit, means that the softs are going to operate at a much lower temperature. Basically means the softs aren't going to run as good as what they were in the first half of the session. So we'll see how the Red Bull man is going to do. Coming through the right-hander now of the exit of Maggott and Beckett through Chapel. And a 101.9 is more like it in the middle sector from the Parnell Racing man as he now comes down the hill in towards Stowe Corner at turn 15. Gets caught on the outside curve, flings the car, rotates the car in beautifully there with the angle and everything. And Sam Gamer setting an electric lap time here as he now comes through the final couple of corners at Vale and then in towards Club and then embarks on this Lewis Hamilton straight once again. Sam Gamer on the run to the line goes quickest than Matteo and a good lap time nonetheless, a 10th quicker than Matteo. ET8 there filling out in second and OP 3 and 4, but it's Parnell Racing who currently top the session. But the second lap time is about to happen here out on track as well, which is going to be very, very much so. And again, let me know in the comment section what you guys are making of this stream so far. If you are enjoying it, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Drivers just joining in, I believe, maybe changing setups if we are going to be having a potential restart a little bit later on. But Sam out on top, Mateo in second, Marcador's there in third, as we have got both Paradox Sim Racing drivers now on a lap, and it is Kian, the first one to set up on a lap, and a 27.1 is actually quicker than Sam Gamer through the first sector, so Kian looking to try and electrify the laps. He's got his father in the chat as well, which is even worse, I think, adds the pressure for the Paradox Sim Racing man. Now comes in towards the right-hander of turn number 9 at Stowe Corner, and we'll see how this is really going to progress from his perspective. Looking very good as Kian through Stowe. Gets out of the way of the traffic there, the Mercedes on the right-hand side. There's a little bit of traffic actually coming through Maggots and Beckett. Luckily gets out of the way though. Kian now coming through the middle sector split. Remember, 101.9 in the middle sector for Sam Gamer, 101.921. Slightly down in terms of the middle sector, but up in terms of his average lap time. He's got traffic, however, though. There's a Ferrari, there is a Williams, I believe, ahead of him there as well. As Kian now comes through the final corners. Haas gets out of the way. Everyone gets out of the way. Good job there. Don't want to have what Magician did earlier on in Q1 as Kian now comes through the final corner. On the run to the line. Sam Gamer's lap time, 25 flat. And in the end, Kian goes a tenth slower. So that middle sector slower. Final sector even slower. And Kian there going in third behind Mateo. Boys, I think the Spaniards' confidence certainly there in second. Liam Bowman on the lap as well for Novus Racing. Bradders now goes quickest ahead of Sam Gamer. So McLaren from Red Bull for Mercedes. Probably seen that one before around here in Silverstone. Maybe 2023. Maybe Norris stopping the session. But Liam Bowman now coming through the final couple of corners. On the run to the line, he puts himself up there for Novus. Big lap time there from Liam Bowman. The Xbox Scope there going third. And Volakonga now going second as well. So a lot of lap times coming in. Kazizel now jumps up into second. How many drivers do you want second? It's almost like that meme that you see on Discord. You get a second, you get a second, you get a second. It's pretty much like that, because Kazizel there in second, Volakonga now third, and Sam Gamer in fourth in the space of about 10 seconds there. Passy down by 0.2 of a second through the first sector. Maxwell just on a lap as well. And Ruti, the NLR man, is on a lap coming through Maggots and Beckett. So we'll see what the NLR man can do as he comes through this part of the track. Through Chapel, and a 102 flat is up there with the top end guys. But it's out on top though, because Kazizel in second, Volakonga there in third. Very good lap times being set, of course. We all see now fresh set of softs being run. Majority of the guys, probably from Nando downwards, on their lap times, and now on that fresh set of soft compound tyre. Everyone else on that fresh set have already set their lap times. So Ruti now on the run to the line for NLR, goes 9th, gets himself currently into Q3. However, with the likes of Nando improving by 0.009 of a second as he comes to the line and actually improves by 0.3 in the end, going 8th position. Very good lap time from him. It really suggests now NLR may be in trouble with not only one driver, but both of their drivers as well. Joseph there saying in the chat, I've been summoned to commentate, but I'm half in a league race. Focus on the league race. Focus on that, because it is more important than joining me in the commentary box, put it that way. Brad is out on top, it's Kazizel in second, it's Volakonga there in third, and as I say, hopefully you are enjoying the stream, hopefully you are enjoying everything that is happening here in Legacy Division, and if you're not, then you're not living. Brad is though from Kazizel, from Volakonga, with about 5 minutes ago, as I'm going to take a slight intermission myself, and go for about 30 seconds just while I catch my breath a bit. And there we go. Just like that, it's not even 30 seconds, I'm back. It's Brad is out on top, it's Kazizel in second, Volakonga in third. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go then on the clock here in Silverstone. We are going to see some really good action out on track here. Let me know once again who you think might be going out in Q2 and who you think the 10 will be going into Q3. Currently, my theory of Volakonga being out in Q2 not really happening whatsoever. He's currently there in third. And look at the times that have actually been set from third downwards. Volakonga 25.025, Mateo 25.026, Sam Gamer 25.030, Marcador 0.33, and Liam Bowman at 0.42. You cannot get closer than that, surely. You can have 3 drivers' time like it was in F1 Esports Challengers around here, but we have to see if it will get any closer than what we've got here tonight. As Ruti there coming into the pit lane. We're seeing now the final drivers coming out on track. Kian going to be one of the first to come out, along with the FRT man, Doward. And Doward is the first man out on track. Brothers feels like he's done enough. I feel like he's done enough. He's retired there in the pec lane with 2.5 minutes to go, just over, in this qualifying session. Alex G there saying in the chat, if his opponent's... I'm not even going to repeat that comment, but you can see where it's going with the Jamie Vardy stuff and Leicester getting relegated from the Premier League and actually playing Sunderland this season, which is going to be very nice because I'm expecting Joseph to make a trip to the Stadium of Light, which is going to be, hopefully, A, very, very terrifying because he'll probably see me there, and B, very terrifying for him because I wouldn't think of anything better to do than actually attend a Sunderland match. But Brad is out on top because there's led second, Volokongan there in third. The shame of despair, I think, is going to come down in the chat as a result of that. But Darren, the first man out on track here, the pole for the FRT team. And FRT, remember, coming into tonight, have picked up with Chelsea and Rain being at the helm in terms of their racing. Some very, very good points indeed. FRT, of course, currently 4th on 24 points. Outplayed Racing currently leading on 45. Nexus Racing in second on 35. They have now, of course, been replaced by ET8 in the Mercedes. Those points do not get carried over to ET8, by the way. They start fresh. They start on nil points. So they are tied with NLR right at the bottom end of the field. G-League there in third on 32. FRT 4th on 24. Parnell Racing 5th on 19. Then a tie for 6th between Chazoo, BRT and Novus Racing on 15 points. Paradox Sim Racing there in 9th on 6th. And then NLR in 10th on the nil point. I had that on my left-hand side. You didn't see that on the stream because we've got Darren now starting up his lap and on the run, maybe in towards a wet Q3 potentially. Look at the cloud cover now compared to the start of the session here in Q2. Very much going to be a changeable condition, maybe even the British weather coming into play as well. As Darren now comes in toward the left hand at turn number 4 at Village. And then in towards, at the loop, and then through Aintree Corner at turn number 5. Now down the old Wellington Straight, where the National Straight, the National Track actually joins with the Formula 1 track. 500s up from Doward through the first sector. Probably not going to be as quick as what you see from Bradley's because this is Volokongan. However, if he's got a big lap time in, this is the time to show it. This is the time to show you guys at home what Doward is all about. We've got Kian, we've got Urpek, we've got Tales, we've got everyone now starting their final laps. Volokongan, Mateo and Sam Gamer, by the way, feeling like they haven't done enough. They're going out for another run just to try and consolidate themselves in Q3 as Doward now comes in towards Maggots and Beckett, flying through the section now on track. Very difficult to get right. Again, a little bit off camber there, losing a bit of time, but a 1:19 in the middle sector. Big lap time coming in for the Future Racing team driver. Of course, Chelsea and Rain did get them very good results last week in Monaco. Looking to try and repeat the same here at Doward and a potential date with Destiny in Q3. So he now comes in toward the left-hander of Vale and then in towards Club Corner at turn number 18. Brothers Kazizl Volokong in the top 3. Doward going to try and trouble them. Goes 8th. Good lap time from Doward. Don't think it's going to be enough. Nando down in the first sector. Passy down in the first sector as well. But Kian, one of the guys in trouble. 25.172 as a 10.5 up through the middle sector. So we'll see what the PSR man can do. Hoping that Doward does not get any more drivers improving. Kian, though, goes to the top of the timing sheet. Big lap time there from Kian. The Dutchman goes quickest. 24.906. Big lap time there from him. Maxwell was in ballad, so that's good for Doward. Urpek goes 3.5 tenths up, and a 101.8 is about as fast as we've seen all night. As Urpek now, on the run to line, goes quickest by 1,000th of a second ahead of Kian. NLR now lapping that up. Ruti is on a lap as well. He's 200ths down, coming through the final couple of corners. Doward looks safe for now. Passy and Nando are improving, however, so this is going to be trouble for Doward. Ruti now coming through the final corner. Has he done enough to get into Q3? No, he's out. Nando, 2,000s up out of the middle sector. Has he done enough to get into Q3? Through the final corner? No, backs off. Passy to the line, goes 10th, and feels so sad for Doward out there at the final thrust. FRT not getting a driver through. Passy bringing that BRT into form, into play. The Aston Martin there going 10th. A brilliant lap from him. Gets himself into Q3. Doward there out by a very, very, very minimal margin in 200ths of a second. You've got to feel sorry for the FRT man. But Nando, maybe the big shock out of Q2. He's there in 12th position, and he didn't improve in terms of his lap time. He had a barely minimal improvement coming out of that middle sector, and Nando, one of the guys, potentially one of the favourites for pole position, out in Q2. But let's have a rundown of qualifying 2 then, and look at the timing sheets. Uppbeat out on top by 1,000th of a second. You cannot get closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. Kian there in second, Markador's in third, Brad is there in fourth, Kazizel in fifth, and Mateo in sixth. And look at the top 6, covered by less than 1/10 of a second. Big lap times coming in from there. Volokong in 7th with Sam Gamer in 8th, Liam Bowman there in 9th, and then Passy rounding off the top 10 with Dawid in 11th, Nando in 12th, Ruti 13th, Talas in 14th, and Maxwell there in 15th. Unfortunate for G League to get both of their drivers out in both Q1 and Q2. Good performance though from Dawid, Nando, Ruti, Talas, and Maxwell to even get that far. And hopefully we'll be seeing a very special guest joining me in the commentary box to save my voice. Certainly, Jota will be joining very soon indeed, which is good. But Uppbeat out on top, it's Kian there in second, and Q3 is about to get beginning very soon indeed. So let me know in the comment section right now who you think is going to be pole position by the end of Q3. And are we going to see any wet weather? It definitely doesn't seem it at the start of qualifying anyways. But we shall see how everything is going to progress out on track. He will be about 5 minutes, is Jota, I've just been informed. So you're going to have to cope with me and my voice for another 5 minutes or so. Hopefully, though, it'll be going all according to plan. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. 176 of you. Let me know in the comment section if you're enjoying yourself. Put a thumbs up, put a love heart, put whatever you want there in the chat. Make it reasonable, though. Put it that way in terms of the emojis. But let me know if you're enjoying it and if you're enjoying this commentary, because I really want to be buoyed by your enthusiasm there in the chat and by these guys' enthusiasm out on track as well. But we shall wait. It's going to be a slow start, potentially, here to Q3. Markadors, Kian, Bradders, Sam Gamer, Kazizel, Uppbeat, Volokong, and Passy, Mateo, and Liam Bowman being the 10 drivers now fighting out here for Q3 and the pace to cement their legacy here in Q3 and here at Silverstone for Season 3 of Silverstone. But we'll have to wait and see in terms of this. And also looking at the 10 drivers that have actually qualified for Q3, 2 Xbox and all of that as well. Now, there's been this whole big debate around everything when it comes to, is PlayStation quicker than Xbox? Is Xbox quicker than PlayStation? From my experience here from Legacy Division so far this season, PlayStation's been quicker than Xbox, which I think is very good because I'm a PlayStation commentator by heart, so I have to throw the bias out there and say it's brilliant for PlayStation. But it's also brilliant for the Xbox squad because they get a real challenge. Most of their drivers out, of course, in Q2 and Q1 actually does bring about that sense of improvement. And Passy and Liam Bowman have done a fantastic job there to get into Q3. And we'll have to wait and see how everything goes. And Bell Ruffix there in the chat. Again, number 6 video came out recently, so you can go in and tune that with all the information about NOx folding and everything like that. Bell Ruffix saying in the chat, PS is quicker, not because of driver quality, but because PS grip is better. Totally agree with that. Totally cement that comment. And it's 100% factually correct as well, because it is just factually true. That grip is better on PlayStation this game as compared to Xbox. And also, it's quicker because they get, even on pad, we've seen the likes of Mubarak, for example. We've seen the likes of Flopban last week on pad, delivering performances like we probably wouldn't have seen 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago here in Legacy Division. It is fantastic to see. Great to see the improvement from everyone out on track. And hopefully, we get an instant classic here at Silverstone. All the ingredients to go, but is Passy going to cook in terms of his lap time? The BRT man now about to start his lap in Q3 as the Aston Martin now comes in towards the Vale chicane and then towards Club Corner at turn 18 before embarking on the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. It's Markadors, Kian, Brad at the top 3, but with 9 minutes to go in Q3, we get going with Passy now on his lap, running down in towards the right-hander of Abbey, and then into the left-hander turn number 2 at Farm. You take a very high 7th gear through there, you run 8th gear through there, actually loses you a bit of speed as now comes through the right-hander of turn number 3, and then in towards the loop at turn number 4, pretty much the hairpin that now joins the international part of the track. Now down the Wellington straight is Passy now coming through this first sector split, looking very good through so far through the first sector. 27.1, pretty much on matching par with what we've seen so far in Q1 and Q2, as now Passy comes through the right-hander of Luffield. Very difficult corner to get caught. If you get caught in that curb, sends the car completely offline, and hopefully we don't get to see that. But Passy there in 8th position, doing a fantastic job. Now coming to the right-hander of Stowe, again, flat out, very high 7th gear. I'm not sure if you heard the revs coming through on my TV there. Certainly heard it through the Algorta capture card, because that was very high revs coming through there on my end. And now Passy embarks, coming through Maggots and Beckett, through Chapel, middle sector 1 and 2.1. Down on what we've seen for Passy, looking to try and prove that he is worth a place here in Q3, as he now embarks in towards the right-hander of Stowe, looking very consistent, I've got to say, on this lap. The Aston Martin flying now in toward the left-hander of turn 16, and then in toward the right-hander of 17, then in toward the right-hander of turn number 18. Marketals key in Bradder's top 3, not for long though, because Passy will go quicker than the rest. 25.395, good lap time from him. Liam Bowman there, also on pad tonight, he's there on a lap. Mateo there on a lap as well. Keane, I think, however, one of the furthest on is Mateo, Volokongan, Urpek, just starting up on laps as well. So Mateo now furthest on. Solid banker lap there from Passy. We'll see, though, what the ET8 man can cook. He has won around here at Silverstone before, has Mateo. In EML Premier 1, Alex the G, I believe you were with me on commentary for that one. Mateo looking to now try and cook in terms of his performance here in Q3. Comes through the middle sector split, 1 or 2 flat in the middle sector, quicker than Passy, so he's a 10th up on Passy through that middle sector. We'll see by the end of this lap how much he's going to improve by, but he should really, really excel. Langfeld there in the chat saying credits to the comms. I commentated on you, Langfeld, by the way. TML back in the day, I'm tempted to say, as Mateo coming through the final corner, on the run toward the line, goes quicker, but only by a 10th of a second, dead on a 10th of a second. We've got Liam Bowman now coming toward the line, 101.9, again up on Mateo's time in the middle sector, and again, now goes quicker than by, what, 2.5 tenths that is, actually, Liam Bowman. So big lap time there in for the Novus Racing man. Volokongan 1 or 2 flat in the middle sector as well. Liam Bowman from Mateo from Passy currently in the top 3. Still only on the first run. They're only going to get 2 runs as now Kian goes quickest. 24.7. Big lap time there from Kian shown. As now Volokongan, the Norwegian, tries to cut coming through the final quarter. The Alfa Romeo on the run toward the line. Team Trezu with both of their drivers into Q3. Volokongan goes third. Not a bad lap time there at all from him. Urpek now on the run to the line. Goes third. Quicker than Volokongan. Slower than Liam Bowman by 0.04 of a second. Kazizel, though, however, absolutely flying in the middle sector. Team Trezu absolutely cooking. Macho is engineer tonight. Brilliant job so far. 101.7. Kazizel coming alive as Sam Gamer's 1,000 behind Kian, but now absolutely blasted from the pass by Markedos. 24.6. Kazizel, though, could blast them out the water. To the line, goes 4th in the end. Good lap time there from Kazizel. The end of Q3, first runs are done. Markedos out on top. But look at the difference between Keen and Sam Gamer. 1,000th of a second separating Keen and Sam Gamer. That is how consistent these guys are. It is an absolute thrill to watch from me in the commentary box here. From you guys at home, I hope you're experiencing the same thrill that I am as well. It's going to be an incredibly close Q3 with what I hope is going to be some fantastic racing out on track as well, with 26 laps awaiting the drivers and around a 95-mile race distance as well. Oh, I need to freshen myself up from that. Markedos, Kian, Sam Gamer currently there, the top 3. First runs are done. If you are just tuning in, you are really coming into the nitty-gritty, I've got to say, of Q3. This is where the tension builds. This is where drum rolls happen. This is where everyone now has to just gather themselves mentally. And in terms of that mentality, it is so difficult around this track. I have been in a situation where I've done one-shot qualifying around here in the past. And let me tell you, in a full 18, 15 and 12-minute qualifying session, these drivers will be feeling pressure that you probably have not experienced at home before. They've got engineers, they've got teams, they're probably egging them on in the background. But this is down to the individual driver. This lap will count for every single one of these. And what I hope we see is plenty of improvements in a very close qualifying session. But whatever happens in Q3, with the final 4 minutes now coming on, it is going to be brilliant to watch, brilliant to witness. You guys, regardless of what affiliation you have, whether you have an affiliation with a team or not, remains to be seen. And if you don't, you're at the neutral standpoint like me, or if you are part of a team and you are supporting your team right now, let me know in the comment section who you're supporting here tonight. Because we want to show the love, regardless of what your affiliation is. Just be proud that these drivers are going to deliver 100%. Now, there will probably be contact in the race. We can't avoid that. But these drivers are at the top of the game. They are the best of the best. Legacy Division's proud to have them. I'm proud to be in the commentary box sitting here by myself on my lonesome, still delivering with my voice going. But it is going to be a fascinating Q3 as Patty now is the first man to come out on track. And we'll see how everything is going to fold. There is a poll, by the way, in the chat if you do want to see that. 34 of you have now voted. I have voted for PSR for pole position, which I think is going to come potentially from Kian there in second. But the current votes, live votes there, it will close very soon indeed. So get your opinions in terms of who you think is going to get pole position. Either with team, either with driver as well. Regardless, I'll be very thrilled to have your comment in there in the chat. PSR though on 37% of the vote so far. Other, comment below, 32%. Plenty of drivers supporting NLR. Rooty potentially maybe the one, or Urpec potentially the one to get pole position for NLR. Plenty of support being shown from the NLR boys there. OP 21% and Team Shazoo. Not many of you having faith in Team Shazoo. Maybe the underdogs then coming into this session. 10% of you having the Scottish outfit of Team Shazoo as being with one of their drivers pole position. So have to wait and see how everything will go. But it's Marcos out on top. It's Keenan in second. It's Sam Gamer there in third. We'll run above with Passy down there at the bottom end of the field. I have a feeling, though, he might have ran on used softs, which is why we saw his lap time at 25.3, and everyone else, what, 6-7 times quicker than him? Probably the bottom 5 ran on a used set of soft compounder tyre, maybe keeping it for the race, or maybe just trying to get rid of the tyre. Maybe even a threat of rain potentially going to be coming towards the end of the race as well. But it is Marcos, it's Keen, it's Sam Game in the top 3. The end of qualifying about to begin, and Passy now, with a BRT bias being shown by the commentator here once again, is coming through the final corner on the run to the line to start off his final run. So we'll see what the Aston Martin can do. We'll turn the timing tower off again on the right-hand side. Alex the G reiterating the fact that I'm showing BRT bias. I think it's like the 5th time I've shown them tonight. I don't get credit, it's just the first man out on track that I follow, and Passy is that first man this time around, as he now comes to the left-hander of the loop at turn number 4, then through Aintree at turn number 5, and this already looks quicker. Visually, this looks quicker from Passy through the first sector. Want to be around the 27 flat in the first sector? Dead on with what I was thinking there. 10th of a second improvement, 27 flat in the first sector, and now Passy really embarks now on his lap, coming to the right-hander of Luffield, and now down the old pit straight, down into the old turn 1. At Stowe, and we'll, sorry, not Stowe, Copse corner. Knew that was going to come out one way or another, as Copse now is tackled by Passy and the Aston Martin. Looking very, very quick, very high 7th gear as it actually comes in toward the right-hander now of Maggots, and then through the left and right complex of Beckett. Flying through the section of the track. Around about a 101.8 is where you want to be, and a 101.8 it is. I swear I am not being Mystic James here in the chat. Passy there, flying on this lap time as he now comes in toward the right-hander of Stowe at turn 15. Runs wide there slightly on the apex of the corner. Corrects himself as he now comes in towards the left-hander of turn 16. Then through the right-hander of 17. Then through the right-hander of turn 18. Many drivers just going onto their laps, by the way, as well. Kazizzle there retiring, coming through Luffield. So he is out of the session. Passy in the end only going 6th position. Let's focus then on the main runners. Kean one of the furthest on. And he's 1400 up out of the first sector. Coming through this middle sector split. The PSR man is up by a 10.5 in the middle sector. The PSR man really cooking on this lap. Markers from Kian, from Sam Gamer currently in the top 3. But Kian now, the Dutchman, trying to fly like Jana Watme on PC. Trying to now become the Flying Dutchman of console. Into all the left-hander now of 16. Then through the right-hander of 17. Then through the right-hander of Club Corner at turn 18. Kian now on the run to the line. Puts it out of reach for now, 24.536. What is Markadors doing? He's a 10th down through the first sector. Sam Gamer is slightly up, I believe, in the first sector. Brothers, however, improving as well. So let's see what Brothers can do. The other PSR man, looking to try and improve through this final sector. 24.797 is current best. Looking to try and beat Kian and to try and topple him. Liam Bowman, however, going 3rd. Overperforming like mad as Liam Bowman. Brothers in the end doesn't improve. Sam Gamer is not improving in the middle sector. Markador's not improving in the middle sector. So this looks guaranteed, potentially, for Kian to get pole position. Urpex coming into the final couple of corners as well. Markador's to the line. Does improve. Purple final sector. Not enough. Urpex goes 3rd. Big lap time there from the PSGL F2 man. Going there in 3rd. And a big, big qualifying session there from him. But in the end, Kian, with that stonking lap time, gets pole position, and we'll have a rundown of the top 10 from Q3. It is Kian out on top, from Markadors there in 2nd, it's Urpec there in 3rd, Liam Bowman in the end in fourth. Big, overperforming man. The Anovus Racing man absolutely cooking there in qualifying. Sam Gamer there in fifth, with Kazizzle in sixth, then Bradders in seventh. Volakongan there in eighth. Passy there in ninth, and then Mateo, who really didn't get a Vola lap time in at the end, they're down in 10th position. And hopefully we get to see some really good action out on track as well. We will have a slight intermission break then, which means I can catch my breath, you can catch your breath, grab your popcorn. It's going to be a big time. But we'll hear from our sponsors, of course, in Next Level Racing, and indeed from GridFinder, and we'll be back with you as soon as the lights go green. And we have light and away we go, but we are going to get a restart. I've just been informed here by our man behind the scenes, I believe, and their driver's going off, so we are going to get that restart. Potentially for just being a new lobby, plenty of people crashing. This is not what you're going to see, by the way, in terms of the race. We are going to be back with you, of course, as soon as the lights go green and as soon as this lobby gets set up. So we'll be back with you probably in around 5 or 10 minutes time, depending on how long the lobby does get it set up. But we'll be back with you in just a second. Welcome back, everyone, to Legacy Division. It is Season 3. It is round number 2 of the Championship. We've taken the British Grand Prix, and the drivers are now readying up here in the lobby, about to get going. And I've been joined by a marvellous, marvellous special guest in the commentary box. Of course, it is my regular partner in crime. It is Mr. Jota. Jota, how on earth are you doing, my friend?
You know what? I must admit, just before we get going, I have to apologise for my lack of, presence within qualifying. To say though, what a monumental qualifying that was, James. I mean, in the end, ET8 on their debut, immediately getting a Q3 showing as well. I mean, that was mind blowing.
It was mind blowing. Yeah, Matteo did a fantastic job. We were speaking in the off piece there as well, and Sergio lost 3/10 of a second because of frame drop. So that could have easily been two of their drivers into Q3. One of their drivers did absolutely cooked and gave himself a very good chance potentially in terms of this race. Looking through the standings, though, of course, remember coming into tonight, Outplayed Racing leading the way on 45 points, and what I can say is going to be a dry start to the race. Nexus Racing there in second on 35 points. Of course, they have folded, been replaced by ET8, which is why you're seeing them in the Mercedes here tonight. Of course, they do not pick up the points for Nexus, so therefore they start on nil points right down the bottom end of the standings. G League there in third on 32. Future Racing Team in fourth on for FRT on 24. Parnell Racing in fifth on 19, and then a tie for sixth between Shazoo, Bunga, and Novus Racing for sixth, seventh, and eighth, all on 15 points. Paradox Sim Racing, 6 more points scored than what they did last season in Monaco. They're in ninth position, and NLR Esports cooking and qualifying. They're down in P10 on the nil points, but they are certainly not going to be scoring nil points after that showing and qualifying. And Jota coming into tonight, Outplay Racing leading. Nexus, of course, out of the frame. G League and FRT's opportunity to try and bounce back.
Yeah, no, a great opportunity for the likes of G League and future racing team to get in there as well. Also, never discredit the likes of Parnell potentially also trying to get in there as well. And of course, there's a good opportunity for none other than PSR as well. I see they're fielding the full PlayStation outfit tonight, so it's a good opportunity for them to try and score some points off the back of what was a really poor Monaco Grand Prix. So certainly looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up all up and down the field. But my eye is going to be on ET8 tonight, obviously on their debut, and that great result in Q3 as well, getting their first Q3 appearance on their debut as well. It's going to be a critical one for them.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. We have been given the 30-second countdown. Apparently, so the drivers are now ready up. There is the grid for tonight. Sam and Talos in for Parnell Racing. Marcados and Nando in for Outplayed. And then Sergio and Matteo in for ET8. Ghost King and Maxwell in for G League. Brothers and Kian in for PSR. Kazizel and Volakongan in for Shazoo. Magician and Passy in for BRT. Supposed to be Chelsea and Rayner. There's Chelsea and Doward in for FRT. Urpek and Ruti there representing NLR. And then Bowman and Stonks representing NVR, with Bowman absolutely coming alive in that qualifying session in Q3. We are going to get the drivers ready up very soon indeed, and hopefully we're going to see some on-track action very soon here at Silverstone. Let me know in the comment section who you're predicting for pole position. Oh, for pole position, for the race win even. And let me know, Jota, who you're predicting for the race win.
I've got to put my immediate money on one of the Outplayed Racing drivers. I mean, Outplayed Racing obviously are flying high at the moment, and I know Marcados always the consistent runner.
And
so I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what Marcados brings in, and I believe it's going to be him.
It is. 5 red lights are now out, and it's lights out, and away we go. Keen there leads the way through turn number 1 at Abbey, then through turn number 2 at Farm. Side by side there in the background. Kazizel going side by side there with Sam Game, and Brad is there trying to get into the mix as well. Turn 3, first pinch point on the circuit. Everyone seems to have got clean through this. 3 wide in the background, however. That's Liam Bowman, Kazizel, and Sam Gamer going for the move around the outside. In the end, Ruti trying to get the job done on Songs. He's dropped right into the back of the field, so Ruti's had contact there coming through the loop and in towards Aintree. But Kean there leading the way. Marcados there in second. Red Bull down the inside line there is Liam Bowman. Brad is there trying to go to the inside line. Sam Gamer getting the move done on Liam Bowman, and now they're side by side coming through the exit of Love Field. Fantastic start by everyone. Kean there leading the way. Marcados in second. Urpek there in third, and Sam Gamer now up to fourth. Liam Bowman under pressure though, running down in towards Cops Corner for the first time. Brad is there right with him. Volakongan there in seventh, right and behind, but leading the way. Kean there with a phenomenal start, and there's a crash there in the background of shot, spearing off into the circuit. Is Sergio right in the background of shot, spearing off into circuit, and that might be a safety car. It's off track, so it might not be, but that could be the first safety car of the night, as I think Magician may have also got caught up in that incident as well, and there is a virtual safety car out on track, as I believe Magician has lost his front wing.
Oh, disappointing stuff that for ET8, isn't it, on their debut? Obviously trying to get the sort of motions rolling for the likes of the Mercedes outfit, obviously losing one of their drivers immediately out of the back. There's a horrendous amount of damage for BRT's Magician as well. Obviously, they want to try and get the motions going as well after a fantastic qualifier. But towards that front as well, I did say about Markados, keep an eye on him, obviously managing to hold on to that second position. And a bit of a disappointing start from Shazoo, though, as well on that soft tyre versus the rest on the hards. I mean, they should have expected a bit of a jump, because Zizzle, with that 3-wide moment, really struggling. Disappointing stuff from Shazoo, but leading the way, PSR Kian.
Yeah, definitely so, and it is back underway. Markados dives it down the inside line. Kian coming into the left-hander of the loop. Urpek there going wide as well, brings Sam Gamer into the mix, and Sam Gamer through and he's into third. Majority of drivers in the top 10, starting on the sort of hard compound tyre. Kazizzle now with a bit of hand of rage there from Urpek. There's a little bit of frame rate drop coming into the left-hander there, but Sergio leaving the session. Apologies about the frame rate drop. We've got that on our end as well. Kazizzle there and Urpek though side by side, coming out of left field. Great move from Kazizzle, absolutely cooking. He's on that set of soft compound tyres, as is his teammate Volakongan, already up to 4th and 7th respectively. Very good start from Team Shazoo, the Scottish outfit doing a fantastic job. Magician, by the way, in the pit lane, no front wing. He came in the pit lane right down the bottom end of the field. Sergio, of course, already out the race after a spearing crash into the wall, coming out of Cup's corner. But Kian there leading the way for Markados in second, Sam Gamer in third, Kazizzle there in fourth, right on the back, and the Alfa Romeo already cooking. Macho's engineer is going to be very happy with this move, because he goes to the inside line, running down the straight here in towards Stowe, and Kazizzle makes easy work, light work of Sam Gamer, and he's through, and he's into third, and Liam Bowman and Volakongan trying to do the same thing on Liam Bowman there.
Yeah, it's easy stuff on the soft tyre, but of course those soft tyres going to wear out fairly quickly, and that's going to be one for watching here, as we're just keeping an eye on that action, obviously as they go through into turn 1, but keeping a firm eye on Markados' performance as well, because of course he managed to get that slight jump at the end of the VSC period on Kian, so obviously PSR immediately getting the jump there, and as we can see more of the lagging happening as well, and I think that just is a pure testament, isn't it, to the goals that are racing on the PlayStation at the moment.
Yeah, apologies about the black screen. My TV turned itself off. We're back live, though. Leading the way. Markados in second, Kazizzle there in third. If anything could go wrong, that would go wrong. I haven't touched my TV in quite a while, so that's why it's got on standby. Kian there leading the way, though, for Markados in second, Kazizzle there in third. There are battles up and down the field, though, still. There's 2 FRT drivers swap positions. Chelsea there through on Doward. Doward there down in 14th. Chelsea there in 13th position. Let's have a look, actually, at the position gains early on from the drivers out on track. A majority of position gains have happened towards the bottom end of the field. Chelsea's gained 5, Goals King gaining 4, Stonks gaining 4, 3 gained for Kazizzle on that sort of soft compound tyres, might be making it 4 in a very short amount of time, because he's right on the back of Markados now, coming out on the exit of Beckett, and then coming out of Chapel, and he has got the good straight line speed down the straight in towards the right-hander of Stowe, but it's Kian there leading the way. Markados there in second, and Markados trying to challenge for the race lead on the back there of Kian. Doesn't get the job done. We remain as we are as we come through Stowe, with Kian leading the way for Markados in second, and Kazizzle there in third, and again looking to the inside line into a Valen Club. Not going to get that one done, and nobody, I don't think, is going to go side by side apart from Stongs, maybe on the back of Ghost King looking for a move, but that's not happened, and Kian there leads. Onto that before we go.
Yeah, but got to keep that pressure on, though, with Kazizzle. Those soft tyres may end up pushing Markados into trying to make an early move here on Kian and potentially go for that dive that he may not necessarily have been looking for to this early in the race. Remember, these hard tyres have got to go the distance, possibly up to another 12 or so laps, or a 10-lap stint on a set of mediums, though Kazizzle obviously on a very, very different strategy on those soft tyres, and keeping an eye on Urpek as well. Really good run here from the NLR driver. As NLR looking to try and get some good points on the case as well in 5th place. Liam Bowman down to 6th at the moment as well, clearly struggling immediately on these hard tyres, with the other Shazoo driver as well as Volakongan also on the soft tyre, looking to try and get the overtake done, as it looks like, just for me anyway, FLT's Dawid again overtaken there by GL's Ghost King.
Yeah, you spied that, actually. I didn't even see that on my end. Ghost King through and he's into 14th. Dawid there down in 15th position. This is why we've got one remote commentator at the minute, and one the signal's gonna go. I believe I'm lagging back in now. Hopefully it's all okay. Not sure what was happening there. I was dropping frames per second.
We are all good here, don't you worry, sunshine. We're all right.
We're all good. We're all good. Yeah, I was just saying, Kian from Markados from Kazizzle, currently they're the top 3. I was dropping signal on my iPad as well. I had this last night in PSGL. I think the signal in my room is terrible at this moment in time, so apologies there.
Not good.
about that. But Kian, Marknell's Kazidl top three, and we embark now, coming through the left-hander in towards the village section, now down the Wellington Straight, and Sam Gamer right underneath the rear wing of the Alfa Romeo, but not going to get the job done, and nobody risking for moves yet, Jota.
Yeah, interesting stuff actually this early on, that people are deciding not to go for that sort of lunge down the inside line and put themselves under the pressure. Obviously, I think they are benefiting from the DRS as well. The likes of Kazizel as well, obviously going to be benefiting from this as well, as long as the DRS is available, even if the tyres do tend to fall off. He might end up sticking within this little DRS train, which may end up extending his soft stint. But remember, of course, that puncture territory is going to be looming over him within the next sort of 5 laps or so, I would suggest, on that one as well. Just keeping an eye out on Bradders at the moment, who's getting quite closer to Valakongan at the moment as well, wondering if these soft tyres are already starting to wear a little bit thin, you know. It looks like the Mercedes, rather the McLaren Mercedes, getting really close to Valakongan. It looks like an overtake is imminent.
Yeah, and Bradders going side by side as well with Valakongan coming in toward the left-hander now. If turn 16, right around the outside goes Bradders. He won here in F1 Esports Challengers, makes it look beautiful, but there goes Nando to the inside line as well, right on the back of Mateo, looking to try and get the job done. But in the end there, Bradders, Thuni's into 7th, Volakongan there in 8th, and already we're going to see moves up and down the field because Sam Gamer looks to the inside line again on the back of Kazizel. Ali there saying in the chat that the softs are dropping off. They are indeed. Kazizel really struggling on this set of soft compound tyre. Sam Gamer on 97% of VRS, but Kazizel lagging there slightly as well. This should be easy pickings for the Red Bull running down the straight. The Alfa Romeo does not make it easy. Goes to the middle of the track with Sam Gamer already through. Down into Brooklyn, he's through and he's into P3.
Yeah, no, that's easy pickings, unfortunately, for Kazizel. I mean, even with the DRS, it was unable to get any kind of defence on there, and those soft tyres just wearing completely thin. He will stay within the DRS, but I think there's just a lack of grip out of corners makes him going to be a vulnerable target around here, as it looks like Urpek already looking to size up a move on that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, definitely so. Right on the back of the Alfa Romeo now coming through. Maggots and Beckett's once again. Liam Bowman there in 6th position, trying to hunt himself into the mix as well. Top 5 currently PlayStation drivers. Liam Bowman, the highest placed Xbox driver at this stage. Doesn't matter when it's a team event, but it does matter when Urpek's going to get around the outside in towards Stowe, and he's going to get that job done because Kazizel and no softs. If I was him right now, I'd come in the pit lane and go for a set of hard compounded tyres. I really would, but he stays out for now because Kazizel risking it another lap. But the further he drops down, the worse off he is going to be. Especially, we've had a VSC, but there's been no interruption in this race so far, apart from that. And that is going to really do Kazizel in, I think, in terms of the long-term nature of this race.
Yeah, no, it's going to massively set him back as well, because of course he's losing official race time as well, the longer that he stays out on these soft tyres. Make a note on Novus Racing stonks, by the way, on the medium tyre. Now, this is where we'll see that matchup, won't we, between the medium tyre compound and the soft, of course, on the inverse strategy of everyone else on the hard. So we should expect 13th place, potentially getting a little battle with the 12th place man here. Has got a little bit of an overtake. It looks like Liam Bowman's decided to make his move, and it's over and done and dusted. Kazizel's not making any, I think, act of defence, to be honest with you, and you don't really blame him, because otherwise those tyres are going to go pop.
Yeah, definitely so. It's very smart, I've got to say, from Kazizel. He doesn't want to put himself in a fight which is not going to be his, and he's only going to go one way, and it's backwards through the field. So Kazizel there in Volakongan going to be really struggling. One person that is picking up, though, in this race now is Nando. They're in P10. Out-qualified, of course, in Q2. Out of qualifying in Q2. Really trying to make up the positions. And now he's on the back of Mateo, running down the straight in towards Stowe. And he is catching very quickly in the Ferrari. Still catching. Not going to go for the move, though. Not close enough in towards Stowe. Somebody that is, though, is Ghost King. Doesn't ghost his way in the inside. Actually gets it around the outside in towards Stowe. So Ghost King through. And he crowns himself into 13th position.
Nice link. I do appreciate the little link on that one as much as I appreciate the overtake, actually, because Novus Racing stonks. I was mentioning about the medium tyre potentially being a potential opportunity for those versus the softs, but at the moment it looks like he's beginning to struggle a little bit here, and we did say potentially around about a 10-lap stint, I would suggest, on these medium tyres. He's currently at 7 with one VSC to slow it down a little bit. Marcador's looking like he wants to put a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah, and Ghost King's just gone for a spin coming through. I saw that on the mini-map. I think he's been caught up in an instant, maybe with Stonks or Rooty, one of the two. There is a lot of action happening up the top of the field as well, because there goes Urpek around the outside in towards Luffield. This will be bold and brave and brilliant if he can pull this one off, but he doesn't. Sam Gamer through and he's into third still. Urpek there in fourth, remaining as they are. But yeah, with that contact with Ghost King, I'll just flick back slightly and see if he's got any front wing damage. He hasn't, so he's got away with it, but I think it was maybe a late lunge in towards the loop, either from Stonks or from Rooty. I'm imagining it's Rooty rather than Stonks, because there, Rooty is in 17th position. And I don't think we've actually mentioned, Jota, Stonks started on that set of medium compounder tyres. We've got all three compounds in use, as you have managed to join the session, which is good. And Urpek now is going around the outside in towards Sam Gamer, trying to go around the outside. He's hung out to dry there on the curb, and Sam Gamer hangs on to third, and he's getting the elbows out the Red Bull.
Told you I'd get him. We're keeping an eye out, though, on the situation with Urpek, and obviously you made that very clear as well. He is trying his hardest at the moment, is Urpek, and it's a good little bit of racing so far from him, actually. I've been really enjoying watching him as he continues to put that pressure on Sam Gamer officially, and Sammy's actually feeling that pressure, struggling going through turn 2, as he then may go for the dive. He collides into the back of him ever so slightly. He'd be lucky he'd gone away without any damage there, but I think Sam Gamer's struggling a little bit with the rear end of his tyres at the moment.
He is. He seems to be rear-locking potentially into the corners, and that's why the rears are just beginning to pop potentially. These hards, as I say, in my lifespan notes, certainly around 18 laps I think they could make. That is being very reasonable, I've got to say, in terms of the notes. But Urpek there, now on the back of Sam Gamer, making that contact. Sam Gamer looks done for maybe in the Red Bull. He's 7/10 off the back of Markados. Urpek there now in fourth, really trying to hunt him down. And all of a sudden, it's actually given Kazizel and Volokongan on that Telesofts a bit of a second win to actually try and make moves, and they're still on the back of Liam Bowman and Bradders respectively.
Yeah, I'm keeping a very firm eye on Sam Gamer at the moment, though, as well, and he is really not comfortable at the moment. I'm wondering if he's actually got a kind of a setup on at the moment, a lower downforce setup, which has allowed his hard tyres to potentially be worn a little bit thinner than everyone else's at the moment. And you can see he's already losing a little bit of time to Markados at the moment, and Markados very happy to just hang fire behind PSR Kian at the moment. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what Kian Gondop can do, actually, because he's going to be under a little bit of pressure versus Markados at the moment, with that Outplayed Racing driver looking to continue in the great form that Outplayed Racing is, and of course Luke looking to continue on in the good form that he is, making the call about Outplayed Racing winning the title. So far, so good for that particular prediction, as we have our first pit. And would you believe it isn't the soft tyre runners that have decided to pit by the looks of things? It's the medium tyre runner of Stonks. He's come off of the medium tyre after 9 laps, and it will be a 16-lap stint to the end on a set of hards.
Yeah, set of hard compounder tyres clearly going to be on for Stonks, so that is going to be him now in the pit lane. Fresh set of hards now applied, and that is going to be him to the end of the race on that compounder tyre. And do you know what? I think what would be perfect right now, and I'm not going to tempt fate by saying this, is there could be a safety car potentially for Stonks, and that would get him right back into contention. And if that is the case, he is pitted in on that set of hard compounder tyres. If a safety car was to happen now, the likes of Keane, the likes of Markados, the likes of Sam Gamer, they would have to come in for a set of medium compounder tyres. Everyone else on the set of softs would have to come in probably for a set of hard compounder tyres. And then Stonks could be left potentially in the race lead if that does happen, as Nando has overtaken Passy coming through on the exit of Stowe, I think that was, or a Cop's Corner even. So that is Nando through and he's into 10th. Passy there down into 11th, and more action happening because there goes Bradders on Kazizel.
Yeah, just obviously make note, though, of course, with the situation with NVR Stonks, he's going to end up in a position where he's going to have to stick to a delta, which means he'll actually lose out under the safety car period, which would be massively disappointing for him. Of course, this is a prospective safety car. So far, no safety car period happening, but 2 people on the softs coming in, as you rightfully say, Volokongan and Talesborough, if you will, for the Parnell Racing team in that situation. They're now coming off of the softs, probably onto a set of hard tyres to the end of this race, as I'm just keeping a firm eye at the moment on Nando, getting a little bit closer to Mateo at the moment. And of course, Kazizel still on that same set of soft tyres, but able to stick in the DRS train.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm honestly very surprised that Sam Gamer is not going to be going for the move right now on the back of Markados and Kean. He's right there or thereabouts with the front two. Doing a great job, I've got to say, in the Red Bull. He's obviously trying to apply that pressure to Markados. Markados, of course, won in PSGL F1, albeit with a 5-second penalty, but he did win in PSGL F1 on Monday. So he has got good form coming in from last night in Imola. coming to tonight in Britain. You spy something in the background. Was that a sideways moment out of Cops by any chance?
Would you believe it? Absolutely is. I mean, it was a cracking little bit of drifting, but it's not the quickest way around this circuit, to say the least, on this one. I'm also keeping an eye on Kian, actually, because he took a little bit of a weird line, actually, going through Cop's corner. They're going into Stone now, and it looks to me as if the McLaren is starting to struggle a little bit with his tyres, whereas Marcados is very happy to just hang fire at the moment. And I'm wondering if Kian's starting to feel that little bit of pressure, knowing that this is obviously a critical element of the race here, as we've got a little bit of action happening here, and it looks like Azizel has come into the pits finally to get off of those soft tyres. Critically, though, Valakongan and Talesburr, if you will, both elected to go onto a set of medium tyres. Oh, as Rudy Gillett comes into the pit lane too quickly, so he's now with a 5-second penalty. And while we're keeping an eye on this one as well, it looks like FRT Chelsea also coming into the pit lane as well, coming off of those 11-lap or medium tyres, hard tyres rather, sorry, that he unfortunately explored track limits a little bit too hard on now, up to 6 seconds for him.
Yeah, and I believe Chelsea actually did also pick up a 5-second penalty. We'll wait until he comes out the pit lane, but I saw 2 drivers' names come up. Not sure if it was a 3-second penalty.
Right.
I don't think anybody has got one, but Chelsea, I think, was the other one that got that 5-second penalty for being in the pit. So
You're absolutely right.
yeah, one of them.
Yeah,
one of them follows
unfortunately,
it.
James. Sorry to interrupt, James. Yeah, I just want to clarify on that one. You're right. He got 3 seconds worth of penalties for track limits, another 3 seconds for track limits, and now 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. We're 12 laps into a 26-lap race, and he's got 11 seconds worth of penalties. But I mean, how the mighty fall for the what was a 3rd place in the end of Monaco, obviously taken off him, a 4th place in the end for FRT, but down to 16th with 11 seconds worth of penalties. Bad day in the office for Chelsea.
Yeah, very bad day in the office for Chelsea. Well, unlike the football team, I think Chelsea is doing a better job than what they are in real life. But Kean there leading the way for Mark Dawson 2nd, Sam Gamer in 3rd. What is it with me and veiled threats towards football supporting drivers and supporting football supporting teams? I mean, I went at Joseph earlier on in the chat about Leicester, but then again, they're playing Sunderland in the Championship. Nando, though, is into the pit lane, as now the Ferrari man is into the pit. So this will be for a set of medium compound tyres, can only be for one tyre. And we're already halfway through the race, believe it or not. Kean leading the way, Marcados in 2nd, Sam Gamer there in 3rd, and Nando now, fresh out the pit lane, coming on that set of mediums. But where is he going to rejoin? The likes of Volokongan and Tales are coming through the final couple of corners now. So they're just coming through the final couple of corners. There's Volokongan, there's Tales, and there is Maxro and also Nando coming out of the pit lane onto the right-hand side. So they're going to be miles back compared to where Volokongan is. So that undercut on that set of mediums, however early you might have pitted, very potent around a track like this. And Chelsea, yes, he was further down the field, but look where he is. Brucey's right on the back of him out of the pits.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. It's actually looking pretty intense here. I'm just keeping an eye out on that little bit of intensity building actually towards the front still between these guys who are yet to make a pit stop at the moment. More specifically targeting actually P5's Liam Bowman, getting closer and closer to Urpek at the moment, and it looks like he's the fastest driver out of those on the hards at the moment anyway. And I'm just keeping an eye out on the performance of the Williams, and he is actually pushing a little bit harder here, so I'm wondering if he's going to be making a dive in the pits in just a fraction of a second as he comes through Stowe. And is he going to dive to the right hand side? He certainly is, yeah, as he makes a good call to come into the pit lane, getting very close to the back of Sam Gamer official. Left it to the last second, but absolutely nailed it. Bradas in 6th. Matteo is also in. Passy is also in as well as David as well for FRT. So there we have it then. So 4th to 9th all in the pit lane. Top 3 are staying out.
Yeah, Liam Bowman, by the way, show now 183 viewers how to brake into the pit lane at Silverstone without picking up a 5-second penalty. Well done, Liam, on that one. Absolutely brilliant. As he rejoins behind Sam Gamer there, coming out the pits, and they've got to be so close coming out the pit lane. Tales, by the way, on the right-hand side of the track, has got ahead of Volokongan, and they're coming out pretty much where these guys are going to be coming out now. So Tales is going to be ahead. He's now actually the net leader of the race, perhaps, because Kean, Marcados, and Urpek are going to drop down. It's about a 30-second pit stop around here at Silverstone. Nando side by side with Liam Bowman coming out of the pit lane. The Williams trying to go all the way around the outside to try and hold the position, but Nando on the fresher tyres holds Trey, and he holds the position. So he's through, he's into P8. Good job from him. And now Liam Bowman is going to say, you know what, these tyres are going to be cooking. They're coming back at him, and he's coming back aft in towards Brooklands on Nando. Looks towards the outside line. In now to the inside line of Luffield. Still going to be side by side. Coming on the exit of the corner, but I think Nando's just going to pull this one off. Rejoins just ahead, coming out of Luffield. Nice battle that, the Ferrari and the Williams. Nando, though, gets the top trumps and gets round one of this one.
Yeah, a little bit of a risky move from Liam Bowman, actually. Could have got onto the grass and spun it out, but he hung it around the outside line, and it weren't going to work. Front runners now into the pit lane here, so keep an eye out on where Tallis is going to be. Slight touch on the rear end there from Liam Bowman on Nando here. It looks like Outplayed Racing's Nando going to have to defend here from a bit of an attack coming in here from Liam Bowman. Straight into overtake. He wants to get the move done early as Valakongan manages to get past Tallis, by the way, while this is all happening. But in the end, Nando stays in front of Liam Bowman as Liam Bowman may go for the dive down the inside line. He's looking for it, going into the Vale chicane. Slight tap, but not going to be on any way a move that is going to be open for an overtake on that occasion. Bowman stays in 9th place, and while Valakongan is now going to be going around turn 1, he does manage to get the jump then on those towards the back here. Kian stays out in 5th. Nando and Bowman still battling in the back of a tyre. Back of a driver struggling with cold tyres. He'll have to go around the outside while Liam Bowman. It's getting very tasty, and he's going to have the grip as well. They're still side by side, going then into the next corner, and he's going to give the toe. Bradders, by the looks of things, Kian, sorry, on into Nando, but Nando will tuck him behind. Bowman up to 6th. Kian still trying to hold on, though, for dear life with those cold medium tyres.
Yeah, brilliant battling, I've got to say, between Liam Bowman and Nando. Absolutely ruthless to the inside line, through turn 3, through turn 4, then through 5, all the way down the Wellington Straight. That is how you battle, ladies and gentlemen, at Silverstone. And the 188 of you, please learn your lessons from that one, because that is going to go down in Legacy Division as a very good moment for this season. Valakongan there leading the way, though, from Tallis in 2nd, but the Brazilian Tallis absolutely all over the back. The Parnell Racing team are currently 2nd and 4th. Here he comes to the inside line, because this is going to follow through as well, and the other Alfa Romeo's going to try, and I think, box in the other Parnell Racing man of Sam Gamer, who's in the mix as well. They're now side by side coming out of Stowe, and now in toward the Vale chicane we go. Tallis leading the way, because this is in 2nd, but Sam Gamer and Valakongan still side by side, and Sam Gamer, the Parnell Racing team, now settling 1st and 3rd as Sam Gamer gets that job done. He is through, and he's into 3rd, and also in the back where Marcados and Bradders are side by side through Abbey and Farm. And the Ferrari's now trying to get in the mix as well with a bit of team tactics. Valakongan and Kian side by side through turn 4. This race kicking off and 3 wide almost in toward the loop as well. Tallis leading the way, but look at Liam Bowman to the inside line, trying to get the job done. This is absolutely ruthless racing, but it's absolutely bloody brilliant. Tallis there leading the way, Kazizel in 2nd, Sam Gamer in 3rd, and this, I hope, does not end in contact, because this is absolutely unbelievable racing.
Yeah, Bradders also looking for the move potentially around the outside line of Nando. While this is all happening, though, Matteo is welcoming himself to this party as well for ET8 as he tries to go around the inside line. He's going to use overtake. He's got very little left. He might have to go around the inside line. Then going into the Cubs corner. It is going to be tight and nasty, but there goes Nando, who's going to have to go off of the circuit. And Matteo has welcomed himself to this party as they go through into Magas and Beckett's, but little ERS available in that Mercedes. But the same said for the cars around him. Nando, but Bradders has got the...
Oh my God! Oh, there's contact!
There's contact! Some game, it's an awful crash in the safety car.
Safety car deployed out on track. No front wing for Kian. Slight touch of wheels between Sam Gamer and Kian in the end. And I said, if we weren't to get the contact, it would have been brilliant. It was great action, but in the end, it had to happen. Contact is made. In the end, it's very strange contact, I've got to say, between Sam Gamer, between Kian. In the end, it looked like Sam Gamer was coming across on him. I don't think the Parnell Racing man has realised that he's actually there on the outside of him. There was also moves going on, I think. In the end, Marcados was trying to go for a move. He's now dropped back all the way to 2nd as a result. Liam Bowman now leads the race. Marcados in 2nd, Matteo there in 3rd. But that is almost like we are seeing PC Tier 1 coming to Legacy Division and coming to WOR on console. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully we get a better race from here on in. But that contact could and should have been avoided.
Oh, it should have been avoided. It's disappointing as well, but it was inevitable, wasn't it, with how intense it was around the circuit. Everybody was getting into a battle with whoever they wanted at one given point. While this is all happening, by the way, people have elected to go onto a set of soft tyres. Now, we know after about 5 laps, he fell off a cliff, so they're hoping this safety car will go as long as possible, because at the moment, Kazizel now is going to be a bit of a dark horse in this one with that soft tyre. But, of course, the medium tyres will definitely go the distance for the top 5, which includes, would you believe, ET8 are Matteo. Matteo, for ETH's debut tonight in this Season 3 of WOR Legacy, is going to potentially be on the podium, but he's going to have to fight out with those around him as well as those on the soft tyres. And while this is all happening, BRT's Magician has elected not to pit at all, and he's now planted himself in 8th place on a set of 15-lap-old hard tyres. So that is going to mix up the mix towards the back, which includes, would you believe, Volakongan, who was leading this race only 1 lap ago.
Yeah, and he's now down in P10, and it is now the case of, do the soft switch on as quick as what we are thinking? Lifespan, certainly from my end, in terms of the notes that I've got, you were right, about 5 or 6 laps I think they really do last before they really begin to hit off the cliff. We saw earlier on in the race with Volakongan and indeed with Kazizel, how they went in terms of their set of soft compound tyres. Is the same going to happen towards the end of the race here in Legacy Division for round 2 here at Silverstone? We have to wait and find out. But Liam Bowman leading the way, Marquez in second, Matteo in third, and people questioning why Magician was staying out. Luckily, you don't have to question him anymore, because Magician is in to the pit lane with a set of hard compound tyres. He's going to go on a set of softs, and to be fair, I think he was going to end up maybe in a bit of contact if that was going to happen. Fair play, smart play as well from BRT. Wants to get him out of the way. He's going to be at the back end of the field, and it might have been a tactical decision, but I think it's the right decision, because I think he probably just would have ruined possibly half the races that everyone else was behind.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to hold off an attack for those on fresh soft tyres, and there isn't enough race left for those hard tyres to ever switch back on versus people falling off a cliff on those soft tyres. So it was a good call to come in and at least be competitive with those around him towards the back. But BRT, never ever discredit that team. They're always going to be a team to watch. The team in the Aston Martin outfit. Keep an eye out on P5. Just Racing potentially on for the race victory tonight through Liam Bowman. Outplayed Racing will try their hardest through Marcados to try and take P2. And then ET8 on their debut, now on for a podium through Matteo. And then, of course, never discredit PSR with them in 4th place through Bradders. And then Passe, that's for BRT in 5th. But then, of course, all those behind on soft tyres. And remember, Team Shazoo already know what the soft tyre feels like. They started on it earlier on. Kazizel is going to be rapid at the end of this safety car period. We're going to be in for an absolute belter. I think the safety car should be coming in at the end of the next lap, not this one, but we'll see what happens. Either way, those soft tyres have got to go a long way on what is now a very, very grippy track.
Yeah, safety car, in fact, is in this lap, so we are going to get an extra lap's worth of racing. Hopefully, it is going to be clean to the checkered flag. It is motorsport at the end of the day. Contact can and will happen. It's just the nature of the beast. It is the form of the sport that we are in. But let's hope on sim racing here in Legacy Division, we get to see the best of these drivers. We really get to see everyone going at it 100%, clean, fair, aggressive racing. That's what we all want to see. And Liam Bowman now is the virtual Burt Marlander. He's now the virtual safety car, and he is going to try and dictate the pace for his hard to contend. He's got Marcos, Matteo, Bradders, and Passy to use as assets rather than rivals, so he's got to use them up as now Liam Bowman goes in towards now the Vale Chicane and in towards Club, and Liam Bowman already try and put distance between himself and Marcados. He's had a phenomenal start, actually. 0.4 of a second as he comes through the final corner. Marcados will now they come through the left-hander of turn number 2, then through now the right-hander of turn number 3. Liam Bowman, though, leading. Marcados in second, Matteo there in third. If we are getting a few signal interruptions, I apologise, but Kazizel there, looking to that inside line, coming out through Vale, coming out through in towards Aintree, now down the Wellington straight, side by side, avoid the contact, please, guys. The Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo, side by side down the straight, and Kazizel just so much better on the brakes, gets the job done, beautiful stuff, and Kazizel through and he's into 5th, and now can set his sights on Bradders.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is it now. This is what we're going to be expecting from Kazizel, who's going to be given, basically told by his team, you've got 1 or 2 laps here. Get the overtakes done and then hold on, because these tyres are going to fall off a cliff. The question is how quickly are they going to fall off the cliff when Kazizel is making those rash moves, as Passy obviously ended up having his hand swing up in the air as he gets into a collision. As Sam Gamer's gone for a little bit of a spin. It looks like FRT's Chelsea has gone for a spin as well, as it goes bad to worse for the man in 11 seconds worth of penalties. It's disappointing stuff for him, as it looks like G-League's Max making an overtake on Novus Racing Stonks.
And Tales to the inside line as well on Passy, coming through Stowe. In the end, Sam Gamer and Chelsea making that contact, I think, coming through the exit of Cops and in towards Maggots and Beck. It's such a shame. What could have it been for Sam Gamer in this race? Down in 18th position. New fastest lap though set by Liam Bowman, leading the way. Lap 20 out of 26 here in WOR Legacy Division, and it's going to be a frantic and frenetic end, and let's hope that we get to see some really good action in all of this as well, because This'll now hunting on the back, coming in towards as Chelsea retires there into the paint lane. He is done for the tonight. I'm not surprised with the contact made. Frustrated, FRT going to be frustrated by their performance. Dawid doing a good job there, down in 15, picking up the last point that is available at the minute. But everyone now just settling down, a little bit of a calm before the storm. Liam Bowman from Marcos from Mateo, the top three, because This'll now trying to cook on the back of Bradders, a man that he has faced in Legacy Division and before, also in F1 Esports Challenges before around here. And these two do know each other very well, and let's hope they go to war rather than make contact.
He's getting a lot of pickup though on his tyres, and we know that the pickup has rightfully been called out by one Jarno Opmeer not too long ago. I believe it was yesterday actually. He made a tweet about it. The pickup is going to be causing some significant issues because This'll on the front end. He's got the grip, but he might make a move here as it looks like Bradders has made a critical error going through Beckett's. It looks like it's going to be easy pickings as he now promotes himself up to 4th place, and the podium is right there for him. He just needs to reach out and take it with both hands.
Yeah, Marcos as well was right on the back of Liam Bowman, looking for the move to the inside line in towards Stowe. Didn't get the move done, maybe just threatening in terms of the move, but there goes Bradders to the inside line, fighting back on This'll. I did say they knew each other very well, and Bradders is back through. Through goes Bradders as he gets through into Stowe, through Vale and into towards Club. He's through and he's into 4th. Great move that by Bradders. This'll now, that drop-off already, it seems, beginning to happen on the set of softs. Soft's probably not the tyre to be on. It's the mediums that you do want to be on. The front four beginning to pull away. But look at how quick Tales is in behind. He's really trying to cook now on the back of This'll, looking down the straight. But he's not going to get the job done this time around. We settle on down with the action. Liam Bowman leads. Marcos in 2nd. Mateo there in 3rd as Nando has gone through on Passy into Brooklands.
Gosh, This'll is getting so much pickup on his tyre at the moment. It's absolutely astonishing what's happening at the moment on that front right tyre. He's getting so much pickup, and that is just causing him so many issues on the front end. And he's just not able to turn the car in here as Volakonga going side by side with Passy. A great move going through Cops. Good stuff as Team Shizou are clearly at the forefront.
Oh no!
Oh, it's an awful collision involving him, and it looks like Uppbeat, I think it was, in that collision there. It's just a big tank slap. It looks like he got caught on the rear end, and that is now ended. Here's any possibility of him making any progress at all in this race. Disappointing.
Really disappointing indeed. And my first reaction, I'm sure with you guys in the chat, I don't know what led up to that contact. My first reaction is, why on earth would you go side by side coming through Maggots and Beckett's? And why on earth would you go side by side through Vale and Club? There's more contact as well. It's because it's on the inside line. He makes contact with Bradders. Nearly has secondary contact as well with Volakongan. Kean involved in that. Tales had to be forced wide. He loses a few positions as well. It's kicking off. Coming through turn number 1, it's nearly 4 wide as we come through Abbey and Farm. It might be even 3 wide in toward the loop here. Uppbeat there on the back of This'll. Volakongan involved in this battle as well. It's absolute mania, manic mayhem here in Legacy Division. It's Liam Bowman who leads, Marcos in 2nd, Mateo in 3rd. Everyone's falling over each other in behind, and Liam Bowman and the medium runners are now beginning to try and fly as Uppbeat tries to fly down the inside line on the back of Volakongan. It calms down slightly, but my word, contact that can be avoided, should be avoided. These drivers know better, and I know that.
Yeah, Volakonga will be wise to try and hold off from This'll here, because he's the unfortunate here. This'll's just going to hand the position over, surely, in this one here. He's still got pickup on his tyres at the moment, and I'm wondering, trying to figure out exactly that's the reason why, and I figured it out. It's because he keeps going off of the racing line, going into corners. I'm wondering if he's trying to put pressure on other people by holding on to the inside line to try and defend, but he's getting pickup, and you can see going through Maggots and Beckett's, he's just got no front end grips. He's having to get off of the throttle, and that is causing him some massive issues. He's now already nearly 7/10 slower at the moment versus Kian at the moment here, but it looks like Nando is going to be the leading driver of those on the soft tyres. He's trying to put pressure on Bradders, who's having a valiant effort at the moment defending on these medium tyres. With 4 laps to go, anybody could be winning this.
Anybody could be winning this indeed, and for a fact, for your factoids out there as well, Lucas said in the chat, only FRA, PSR and OP have won the Legacy Division. Could we get NVR? Could we get even ET8 on their debut with Mateo there in 3rd? It could be possible, and it might just well be, because with the contact being made in behind, these guys in the set of mediums have got a perfect chance of winning this race. But Liam Bowman leads. Marcos there in 2nd. Marcos is just sitting, threatening in behind. Kian now cooking to the inside line. The Dutchman goes to the inside line on Nando. They've been left out to dry through the inside line. Now on the outside line for Luffield. McLaren and Ferrari still side by side coming out of the field. Nando, to be fair, is coming right back at him. And now the McLarens are now going to force the double box. It's brilliant stuff from PSR, and Kian Thurney's into fourth. Let the quicker man go. Beautifully timed, actually, by Brothers. I'm not normally a fan of team tactics like that. It's Legacy Division. It is all about the points, and that was absolutely bloody brilliant.
That is PSR on absolute peak. That's exactly what we would expect from PSR. Brothers boxing.
Marcados.
Nando in. Kian has the overtake here as Marcados has now decided to flick the switch. He wants to get the move done, and he now leads this race for the first time, would you believe, throughout this race.
Mateo.
Here as it goes Mateo and Liam Bowman getting a little bit scrappy here. Now the medium tyre runners getting into a little bit of a scrap here.
Oh, Nando, no.
And Kian also we've got a spinner. It's Nando who spins out of the Vale chicane, and outplayed racing. We're on for some big points tonight as we've got more people going side by side. Looks like G League getting into a little bit of a scrap there as well, alongside Ruti Gillett in this one. Fantastic stuff. 2 laps to go. Action all over the circuit.
It is, and Nando, in fact, I think dive bombed to the inside line in towards Vale. I saw that on the mini-map, and I think he went to the inside line. Drivers avoided him, but he's ended up making his own trouble by going over the curb and then spinning the car. Not sure if there was contact made. If there was, it was because of that contact. If not, it was because of the curb, and Nando spun. He's out of the race now, down in 15th. OP are going to be absolutely livid, and we are going to see potentially new drivers at the top end of the standings in terms of the teams as well, or new teams, I should say, with GL 10th and 11th, Shazoo 6th and 7th, PSR 4th and 5th. Everything to play for here on the final 2.5 laps here at Silverstone. But it's Marcados leading the way. 9/10 of a second. Has the bird flown? Is the big question in the chat. Marcados there leading from Liam Bowman in second. Liam's now tyres beginning to go. He is on the pad, of course, so they are going to have higher tyre weight. But look at Kian in behind. The PSR man trying to cook down the straight. He's not going to be close enough. Somebody that might be there was Tales on the back of Verpek. That's not going to happen. And Maxwell's passing his own teammate down the straight. That will happen. Maxwell Thurney's into P10. And Magician to the inside line, and Ruti absolutely dropped absolute brilliant action up and down the field. I can't even keep up with the camera angles here. Magician and Ruti through, and he's into 30. Nice battling, but Marcados 8/10 clear from Liam Bowman in second, Mateo there in third. Final 2 laps. I am going to say Marcados has got this.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure. I've just been keeping a firm eye on the ERS deployment here, because I'm keeping an eye on see if Marcados has been pushing out of all of them. And out of the top 5, Marcados does have the most amount of ERS, but critically, he is going to be in a position where he's going to have no ability to be able to defend from those that have got DRS. So in this scenario, he might have to use more of his ERS deployment to try and keep Bowman behind. He might have got it, but look, he's already losing a couple of tenths just on the straights now because he can't push that hard because, yes, excuse me, yes, he's got the most amount of ERS, but he, of course, doesn't want to use all of his ERS, and at the moment, he's only got about 5% more than Bowman at the moment. This is really, really good stuff at the moment. I'm just looking forward to seeing how Kian's going to perform now because, of course, he has to stay within the DRS of Mateo and Bowman to have any chance potentially of getting a podium here, but with those soft tyres now falling off a cliff, I'm wondering if Brothers are going to say, look, I've got you into 4th, now return the favour, give me 4th back, I'm the faster driver.
Yeah, possibly so. Kian there on the back of Mateo, though. In the meantime, Brothers clearly now beginning to find his feet on that set of mediums. For now, the PSR team are not going to swap the cars around, but Kazizzle might swap on the back of Brothers. Looks to the inside line in towards Stowe. Very audacious move that is to the inside line. Doesn't get the job done. Doward, though, does on the back of Maxwell, running down into the same corner. So he's through, and he's into 11th position. And they're now side by side. Coming in the background a shot, and there is Maxwell actually trying to go all the way around the outside of Doward. There's a bit of contact between them both. G League against FRT, and there, literally like Lewis Hamilton, there goes Magician to the inside line. Through goes Magician. Does the Aston Martin pull that off? He does. And now Ruti involved in this as well. They're side by side through Abbey and Farm, getting very aggressive, and there's contact there between Maxwell and Ruti. Easily avoided. He rejoins track, and he smashes across into the side of Nando there as well. Look at the ghosting system playing, but Marcados there leading the way. Liam Bowman and second. This is not over and done with just yet.
Yeah, I did say keep an eye on this one. He's been trying to harvest as much energy as he can as Marcados is here. I'm just keeping an eye on Bowman's ERS deployment at the moment as well. He's got a little bit of energy at his disposal here. This is not over and done with at that front end. And I'm just keeping an eye on that incident with G League. Yeah, just having a look. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. People should have just given up on positions that were clearly gone. That's a little bit of a mistake. Going through cops then from Liam Bowman, but he's still going to be on the back end of Marcados. Marcados will be wise to go through here slow, catch Bowman napping, and he's done exactly that then as he's going to go down onto the straight. This is going to be all a make or breaker for the race victory.
Yeah, and he's now trying to break the toe desperately to try and come back. Here comes Liam Bowman for NVR, trying to go all the way around the outside and towards Stowe. Markedos will hang him out to dry, and to be fair, Liam Bowman goes a little bit too deep into the corner, but Markedos there, absolutely stoic in his defence. He's going to lead in toward the final couple of corners. OP have had one driver fall by the wayside. The other is going to take the race win here in Britain. Markedos to the line, wins at Silverstone. Liam Bowman in second, Matteo there in third, Kean there in fourth, Brad is there in fifth. Great result for PSR in their championship hunt, but it's only about one man. I said he had it, to be honest, 2 laps ago. It was getting a little bit tense there, but I was right. Markedos takes the race win. Liam Bowman in second. Absolute underdog performance from qualifying onwards. Brilliant performance from Liam Bowman. He's my driver of the day for sure here tonight. Matteo there in third. ET8 debuting. You could not get any better than that. Sergio, of course, out on lap 1, but brilliant top 3 and an absolute enthralling end to that race.
Yeah, fantastic, wasn't it? All the way to the end there, Markedos. Proving exactly the reason why I gave him my favourite for the Vase victory tonight. He's been absolutely brilliant as Markedos from start to finish. Even in qualifying, he was already bearing on the breath of potentially taking this victory. Velakonga getting the driver of the day on the game, but Team Shizou, what a performance from them. Remember, they started on soft tyres around here as well, so they did a 2-stop and did a great performance for themselves as well. So Shizou will be happy with that one. Novus will be disappointed that they missed out on the race victory tonight, but nonetheless a podium that we've, again, all said he weren't going to be able to get, but they have done it. So this has really, really mixed up that midfield here. And Outplayed Racing, though, leading from the front, is 2 from 2.
It is 2 from 2 indeed, and Markedos fist pumps the trophy to the top step of the podium there. Fantastic result by the Ferrari team. Outplay Racing, of course, the Italian outfit really coming alive there at the end of the race, just about holding on down the straight. That split of the toe, I think, really helped him. Liam Bowman went deep in towards Stowe. In the end, Markedos Liam Bowman could not do a thing about it, and Markedos in the end reaps the rewards and takes the win here at Silverstone. And with Liam Bowman in second, Matteo in third, fills out a very good podium, and congratulations to all 3 on that. Kean there in fourth, Brothers there in fifth, a second covering the top 5. Does not even come close to what we've experienced there. Kean with the fastest lap of the race as well. Volakongan in 6th, then Kazizel in 7th, Urfek there in 8th, Tales there in 9th. Ghost King rounding off the top 10. Good result, actually, for Ghost King in the end. Magician in 11th, Rooty 11th, 12th, then Dawid, Nando, and Sam Gamer round off the top 15. And to be fair, 11.6 seconds covering the top 15 is not bad. Maxwell, Stonks, and Passy. Not sure what happened to Stonks and Passy in the final couple of laps of the race there. Chelsea and Sergio being the 2 DNFers out on track. Fantastic racing they were out on track. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was aggressive. Yes, it was fair. For the most part, there's always going to be contact in motorsport, and I really hope that we do get to see some really good action out on track as we move forward, of course, into round number 3, which, of course, if you haven't seen, Jota has changed, and we are going to be running around, of course, the new track layout of Singapore.
Singapore's going to be a really, really interesting one, isn't it? That new layout is obviously going to be a pretty critical element, isn't it, to it? So I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up over in Singapore, as I'm sure, fingers crossed, we will have some people potentially joining us for a quick chat about what I think will have been, though, a very, very great British and a classic British Grand Prix.
Definitely. So Markedos, Matteo, they're asking us their interviews. There will be indeed. If he wants an interview, I can certainly give him one. I'm going to check in with the top 3 and see if they are very much able to do an interview. Markedos, Matteo, and who's the other man that I'm missing for the top 3? Liam Bowman.
You've got Liam Bowman, you've got Markedos, and you've got Markedos, you've got Liam Bowman, and then your 3rd place finish in the end from the other person that I've now forgotten.
It was Matteo. Matteo finished in 3rd. Yeah,
Matteo, that's the one. Good lad.
It was. The ET8 man doing a fantastic job out on track. I have asked the top 3 if they do want to come in for some interviews, and really hope that we can hear. It'll be 2 in 24 hours, I think, for Markedos, because I interviewed him last night in PSGL PSF1 with a fantastic race win, and hopefully we do get to hear from both of them, at least in the interview room very soon indeed, as we can, in fact, bring in the man who finished in P1 in the end. I am just going to bring him in, and we can speak now for the 2nd time in 24 hours to the man who finished in P1. It is OP Markedos. Markedos, first of all, you're probably getting sick of the sight of me, but second of all, congratulations on the race win. Talk us through that race, because it was absolutely enthralling. If he is here, I hope he is. The silence is deafening. I don't think he's here. Is he here?
I hope, fingers crossed, we'll be able to have him because it'd be great words coming in from us as well. Fingers crossed, we'll be able to hear from him, Marcos.
He is either celebrating with his team at this point, or he is forgetting that his mic is on mute, or you might have to go to the waiting for interview room and then try there and see if that works. But while we sort out any technical difficulties with that, we'll review, of course, what is going to come forward for the rest of the season, and hopefully, we can't hear him apparently. I can't hear him. We can't hear him. So it is going to be interesting. We'll see if he can leave and rejoin in the meantime. Hopefully we can do that. Mateo's asking where to go for interviews as well. But hopefully we do get at least Marcos in. But let's have a look at the calendar, of course, coming forward for the rest of the season. Of course, we mentioned Singapore next week as well. Going to be interesting with that new track layout. Austria and Qatar, however, that good string of 3 races, I think. Singapore now added into the mix. Should be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what we've got with the calendar, actually, because obviously that Singapore entry replacing, I believe it was Monza, if I remember correctly on that. So Monza obviously now removed for Singapore, and then you rightfully point out Austria and Qatar. And remember, of course, Qatar is also a sprint race as well. So we should be in for a good set of 3 rounds before we take a visit to Saudi Arabia, for the October stint. So certainly looking forward to a very, very action-packed September.
Very, very interesting indeed. Right, let's try this again. Let's see if you can hear us this time. Marcos, are you here with us now?
Good evening.
There he is. There he is.
Yeah,
right.
Loud and clear.
Brilliant, brilliant. We've solved all the technical hitches. Fantastic. Congratulations on the race win, Marcos. 2 in 24 hours for you. Talk us through it.
Yeah, first of all, James, you commentate me in F1 2021 back in F3 PSJ, and now again first place in Silverstone. So yeah, but I'm very, very happy, of course. Yeah, bottled in the quali, the pole position, but yeah, P2 is not too bad in the race. So yeah, I was chatting behind Kian in the DRS. Luckily, I got no attack from behind, so yeah, I can chill behind Kian. And then at the stops, I thought I lose so much because I was 3 places, I think, behind Kian. And then yeah, I came good through the field, and then Sam and Kian, I think, crashed on the long straight, and then came a safety car, and yeah, I thought the mediums will be the better tire at the end, and yeah, in the end, I had a great battle with Liam, and also Matteo. I must look behind because he was really fast on the straight, but yeah. In the end, it was a really, really good exit out of Maggot Baggett Chapel, and then yeah, I defended well, and won it for the team.
Yeah, and a fantastic win at that as well. OP, of course, 2 out of 2 with Louis Valentine taking the victory, of course, last week in Monaco. And talking about that, obviously, with Louis Valentine's victory in Monaco, there must have been a sense of pressure, I think, coming into tonight, knowing that you're in the championship lead to try and deliver and try and consolidate that lead as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first race, right? So we have a lot of races in front of us, so it's really important to get every round, every track really good points. And yeah, I think we as a team, we scored really, really good today. And yeah, I don't know if we go further up on the front, but yeah, of course, the win are very, a lot of points. So yeah.
Yeah, it really counts for everything. I think even at this early stage in the season, I mean, we saw with PSR last season, they didn't pick up any points in Monaco and ended up winning the title. So anything can happen here in Legacy Division. And talk us through that final lap of the race as well, because Liam Bowman, the Flying Scotsman, as I'm now going to duke him here in commentary, was right behind you running down the straight. And you must be thinking, God, no, please do not overtake me around the outside of Stowe.
Yeah, I know, I knew I was in front on Stowe, but yeah, luckily he can't go around the outside, so I defended very well, I think. And yeah, at the end I was ahead, clearly ahead, for the last chicane, and yeah. But yeah, on the last straight, my heart was pumping, so yeah. My heart rate was maybe on 200, but don't know.
Hopefully it's came down now to a resting rate, considering you won that race, because I do not know what would happen if you're still at 200 in terms of your heartbeat after that race. But congratulations on the race win. Jota, anything to add?
I've got nothing else to add after the back of that one because it was just such an impressive race in the end. I mean, I'm just keen to see what Outplayed Racing are thinking about, to be honest with you, on that one, because that's 2 from 2 now. You guys are leading from the front. PSR have just managed to start getting their motions in gear, if you will, now. So were you guys targeting the race victories? Were you guys targeting potentially a championship victory on the case? I'm kind of keen to understand what you guys have got in mind.
Yeah, I think we started in the F1 23 game to be the one of the best PS teams, and yeah, I think at the moment we are the best, or the second maybe, but yeah, as you can see in NRC also and in World, we are really competitive, and yeah. We are only happy that we got score very well points. So we go from race to race, and yeah, we will see how it goes in Singapore.
No, sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good to me. Congratulations on the race win, Marcos. Congratulations to the Outplayed Racing team as well. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Very welcome indeed. And now, Liam Bowman not available for an interview, it seems, but we can now speak. Hopefully, you can hear us first and foremost to the man who finished in P3 on their debut here in Legacy Division. It is Mr. ET8 or Matteo. And Matteo, fantastic race from you out on track. In the end, P3 on your debut for the team must feel so good. Uh oh. Can we hear him?
I think we may have the same problem as we did with Markados earlier on, and this, if hopefully from Mateo can hear us, then in this case it might be wise if you just drop out of the commentary box and rejoin us so we can hear your fine words about this one. So he will join us in just a fraction of a second. James, very quickly, I must admit, ETA, what a performance from them on their debut though, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't expect anything less from them coming into tonight. I've commentated on the ET8 team very well in EML in team events on there, and ET8 have done a phenomenal job, I think, in terms of rebuilding themselves. Of course, they lost Sam Gamer a couple of weeks ago to Parnell Racing, and to bounce back from that and show yourself intra podium finish in Legacy Division takes a hell of a lot of guts and a hell of a lot of determination. And full congratulations to Matteo on that P3. He hopefully is now with us. We'll try again. Matteo, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
We can. It is all good. There we go. Finally fixed it. But yeah, P3 for you out on track. ET8's debut in Legacy Division. Talk us through it.
Well, what can I say? 24 hours ago, we were out of this event, and now I stand on the podium for my team. It's just crazy because we had only a 1 day notice to prepare the race. Quali pace wasn't looking too good, but I invalidated a 24/7, which would have been very good, but it is what it is. Started from P10, just a good strategy mainly from my engineer Lalo, which I only gotta thank for this result because without him, I would have pitted probably. So just a good strategy in the end, but great defending, great earth management, and you gotta also have a good race pace to stay up there.
Yeah, you certainly had the race pace to stay up there for sure. You were sticking with Liam Bowman, sticking with Markadors towards the end of the race. And talk us through that final couple of laps as well, because you must have been thinking, my word, have I actually got a chance of actually winning this race?
Yeah, I knew I had a little bit less ERS than the two guys in front. But, you know, in a DRS train, everything can happen. As long as you are in the second, you are in the fight for the positions ahead of you. So I tried to stick with them. I managed to do so. And ERS wasn't enough in the end, because with a little bit more battery, I probably could have attacked Liam in a better way, but I had what I had and I had to work with it. In the end, a P3 is really good, but a P2 would have been better, but for being the debut, we take this, especially since like I said, we only had 24 hours to prepare the race.
Definitely, and I think that takes full commendation, I think, because, as I say, you were the second team, the second out-qualified team. Team Shazoo, of course, filled in when the TFR-PSR merge happened. You getting called up very, very late on in the day. I think full credit to you guys for really putting together a team in that short space of time, and full credit to you on the podium here tonight as well. Jota, anything to add?
Teo, welcome, and ETA, welcome to WOR Legacy Season 3, and what a performance. I can only vouch off the back of what James said. It's a great result for you guys as well, obviously, on your debut, taking over the NRXC. What's the targets you guys have got, for this season? I'm kind of keen to understand what you guys have got, where you want to be, because you've missed, obviously, the one race. You've come at it with some amazing results tonight, obviously disappointing for your teammate, but, what are you guys targeting for the season?
It's pretty hard to define a target for this season after only one race, since we also missed the Monaco one. But after this race, I think we gotta aim for something like a top 5, or so. The deficit we have from missing one race, but maybe something more is possible after this result. Who knows? What I can say is that we will keep working very hard, and we will do our best, and we see where we come up.
Great job today, though. Really, really good result for yourself. And for the rest of the team at ET8, obviously, a few learnings to take, obviously, going into the Singapore Grand Prix. Have you got any likings towards Singapore? Is it a track that you guys like, or is it something that you think you're going to be a little bit towards the midfield for?
To my knowledge, no driver in the roster likes particularly Singapore, but maybe, like I said, I don't know really if someone likes that track. But we will see during the upcoming week, and it's also a complete new layout. So maybe someone liked it before. Now he doesn't like it. We will see.
Well, either way, great result for yourself. Congratulations on a solid podium position, James.
Yeah, congratulations, Matteo. Nothing more to add from me. Go and enjoy Ethan.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Jota. Have a good night.
Very welcome indeed, and take care indeed. We have finished here tonight in Legacy Division in what was a very, very strange night, I've got to be honest. We've had to do remote commentary, we've had to do absolutely all sorts in terms of getting the stream live, but full credit to everyone behind the scenes for allowing me to fill in first and foremost as a full-time reserve commentator / full-time commentator for Legacy Division, which has been brilliant. And I cannot say how proud I am of all of these drivers out on track. It's been phenomenal to see. Obviously, having you alongside me, Jota, for the race, fantastic stuff. And I believe we have also got the standings to hand, which I can also show you right now. I hope I'm going to get the go-ahead to actually show this. Otherwise, it's just going to be completely off the cuff. This has been sent in the Discord, and I cannot get the... there we go. I cannot get the full graphic in on my thing, but here we go. This is how it looks after round 2, and I can't believe I'm actually showing this, but it's Outplayed Racing leading the way. According to this graphic, anyways, on 87 points. Take this with a pinch of salt. It is all provisional at the end. Novus Racing there in second on 47, along with Paradox Sim Racing. So they're tied for second on 47 after a fantastic result from Bowman, of course, for Novus. Team Shazoo there in fourth on 42. Then G-League in fifth on 38. Nexus Racing somehow still in sixth position after their race 1 performance, of course, in Monaco with Furious and Cindery. Parnell there in 7th on 28, then ET8 and Future Racing Team in 8th and 9th on 27. Bunga Racing Team there in 10th on 20, and then NLR, no longer nil point, are on there in 14 points after their result, of course, here tonight in Britain. So that is how the land lies going into Singapore, Jota. Outplayed Racing out already by 40 points, nearly a race win advantage already ahead of the nearest pursuers.
Yeah, it is pretty intense, isn't it, for Outplay Racing? Now, Novus and Paradox obviously on that joint 47 now, so keep an eye out on what Paradox Sim Racing are going to bring to the table as regards to their drivers to Singapore, because that's going to be a critical element here. Not many people like Singapore, but for those that do, they excel around here. So this is all going to be about that driver selection, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up next week.
Yeah, and that standings, by the way, is from the spreadsheet that we've got, which we can keep a track of in terms of the standings, which is good and live. And I can actually screenshot that from NVR Axe. Thank you very much, Axe, for actually sending that in the chat first and foremost, so we can actually see what happened there. But yeah, Outplay Racing out on top. Novus and Paradox Sim Racing, of course, in pursuit. What will happen, though, next week in Singapore? Time will only tell. And you guys have got the best seat in the house, of course, with that happening on next Tuesday, on the 5th of September at 7 p.m. UK time. And I promise Jota will be on time next week, hopefully, as well. If not, it's just going to be me on my lonesome, and I don't mind about that whatsoever. But big thank you to everyone that tuned in. I think I spied 237 viewers, which is big for Legacy Division, even bigger than what we've had, I think, in the past in Legacy Division. So thank you to every single one of you for tuning in towards the end of the race and to tuning in to the British Grand Prix. Keep up the support for the teams, regardless of what you are in support of, whether you're a teammate, whether you're part of a team, whether you're just a fan of WOR and you're just tuning in for this for the first time. Welcome along. You're in for wild and wacky wide for the rest of the season, and Singapore certainly, hopefully, going to live up to expectation. I've done a few laps, by the way, of Singapore, and I can tell you it's not half bad, and we might see some overtakes at the new part of the track as well, which is always positive for Formula One racing. Anyways, I'm waffling on. We better end off the stream here. Big thank you to Jota for joining me in the commentary box as always, and always, and Jota, of course, Singapore next week. Really now going to see and separate potentially the teams from the boys.
It's all about that track. It's all about what the teams are going to be selecting going into the Singapore race. I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up for September as well, because I think the line of races that we've got coming up is going to be one in hell of an intense affair. Looking forward to being alongside you for that one, James.
It is. It's going to be fascinating indeed. We're going to round off with, of course, our word from our sponsors, Next Level Racing, and indeed GridFinder. Hopefully, the advert works and it doesn't tank in terms of the CPU. But I've been James Head. He has been Jota. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.